Hello everyone, how are we all? I'm extremely well, obviously. I'm joined by the delightful, the one, the only, Notorious B.I.G.? That's not right at all. No justice MTG.
GG.
Yes. Fuck, mate.
Not quite. I'm not quite Biggie Smalls level of famous.
No, but you did
We'll
have
see.
several rappers in the 90s killed, but that's just coincidental.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, they're not on to me yet. They're not on to me yet
True.
over at the Fuzz.
The fuzz. That's a very American phrase. Yes, the fuzz. Yes, we're going to be on with Mike Stuchbery. Hopefully, if he arrives at some point.
Absolutely. I've never spoken to Mike outside of DMs before. It's really, really cool, interesting to meet him.
Yeah, no, he's a good dude. He's a good dude. We'll hopefully he responds at some point. Anyway, yes. Well, on a completely unrelated note, and I'll just briefly turn my camera on for everybody, so you can see this. Otherwise, it doesn't make any fucking sense. I got a new passport, right? Blue passport. Ooh.
Ooh.
Brexit benefit.
It's not even like it's like a really weird blue.
Yeah, it's like
It just looks
really,
like it's black.
Yeah, it's just really dark, like really, really intense navy blue. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
And we could have done that without leaving the EU anyway. It's nonsense.
Literally, it's true. It's true. We didn't have to have the maroon passports. It's not mandated by the European Union. It's just like they have the mandatory banana straightening machine.
Yeah, exactly. Mad. Is it biometric? I don't think so. I didn't give them any bio anything, so presumably not. I don't. Yeah.
Wait.
Also, I've got an Irish one, so that's just better anyway. But I do have to, just in case they don't let me back in on that one.
It's like, where's your visa? And I'm just like, I live here.
Yeah. Like, listen to me. Do you think anywhere else is going to take me? No, this is it. This is where I'm here. What? And then it's just me and fucking what's her name? The unfortunate young woman, who wasn't let back in, and she's now just in limbo as a stateless pirate in a fucking. What's her name, everyone? Someone knows the story I'm talking about. Anyway.
I don't know which one they're talking about here. I know there was a story that I heard about somebody, because you can't fly on your passport if it's 6 months before being out of date.
How long is that plane flight going to take?
I know,
That's
it's a really
ridiculous.
weird thing. Like I saw a story in Manchester Evening News or something, saying that this family had been denied going on holiday because one of the person's passports was expiring in 6 months' time.
That's fucking.
I was like,
well, set the date of expiry 6 months prior to that. Then tell me when I can use this fucking thing on the. What's the point of having an expiry date that isn't the expiry date?
yeah, it doesn't make any fucking sense. It literally makes no sense.
Also, nearly 90 quid for the motherfucker.
I know.
That's ludicrous. How the fuck is it cost? I mean, we already pay our taxes to fund the passport office. Why is this a thing that needs to happen? Anyway, it's fucking.
And it's like the whole point of an expiry date is so that you know when you can use your passport until.
Yeah.
Not until. Why is this? Just making it. Honestly, I guess maybe it's because you could theoretically be gone for 6 months and then you'll be stranded and you'll be a burden upon the embassy. But that's like the most corner case shit.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah, or just tell people. Don't go on 6 month journeys if you've only got 6 months left on your passport.
Yeah, don't be a dickhead.
Yeah.
Like if you do that, you're like that's a dickhead move.
Exactly. If
you'll punish the rest of us trying to go on a holiday when our passport says it's in fucking date.
Yeah, I've got 2 weeks. I'm going for 2 weeks. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm going to France, mate. Chill. Oh. Anyway.
I mean, to be fair, if we just end up getting stranded in France, probably better than staying here.
Yes, unless the fascists do take over.
I mean, that's true. That's true.
That's also a possibility. Can everyone, and I don't usually do this, and it's probably terms of service, but can everyone bombard Mike Stuchbery's Twitter and tell him to fucking answer at least?
He just retweeted something onto my timeline as well.
Or can you respond to him and say, look at your DMs, Kev, DMs, dickhead?
DMs, dickheads. I will say that exact. Oh yeah, he literally tweeted out about. Yeah, literally at 7 PM on the dot.
Check DMs, please. I don't know what. I'm. Well, I don't know why I am loath to ask him to follow back, but so we've been talking back and forth because I've known Mike for fucking years. We used to do a show together and stuff.
You did, yeah. It was like the Let Them Eat Cake.
Let Them Eat Cake. Me, Mike, and now the producer of Normal Island, or one of the producers of Normal Island, along with Curtis, the Cognitive Society, COGSEC, or COGSOC.
Now called Antifa Cog.
Antifa Cog, indeed, because he used to be a shit
TikTok.
lib. No, not really.
How people grow.
Well, he was a student, and now he's slightly older than that.
That's the funny thing is that so many people say, "Oh, all students are so left wing. They'll grow up and become conservatives when they get a job." And I'm like, nope, it may be into a communist actually.
Well, yeah, because you get to see the real world, and the real world is not what the boomers were brought into, where you could actually, progress and become economically stable and sufficient. No, it's actually you have to have a degree to be a fucking barista on minimum wage, and that's not pleasant.
It was just like when you're a student, like what the fuck do you care about? You care about student fees and like that's like the EU, and that was basically it. I mean, that was my experience of being a student. Yeah. And then I got a real job, and I was just like, where the fuck's my surplus value gone?
Yeah,
this is shit. Why is housing so expensive?
Indeed. Shamima Begum was the person I was trying to think of. Yes, that was the person I was trying to think of.
Oh, I mean, that was she got a citizenship revoked illegally.
Indeed.
And again, well, our court said it's all legal, but it just make it like not internationally illegal.
Yeah.
In terms of,
we've essentially left to live in a concentration camp forever.
Yeah, in a refugee camp in Syria of all places.
Yeah, lovely stuff. Kev dropped out of barista school, so he can't work there. True. Well, no, I meant you have people who are very highly qualified who've gone through all this whole thing, got into huge amounts of debt, and it does them no good. Not because education is bad, but because the economy is set up by cunts for cuntery purposes.
In the words of Stuart Lee, how am I supposed to get cheap tea and coffee in the central London area if there's not a massively overpaid Eastern European philosophy professor prepared to make it for me for significantly less than the living wage?
True, literally true. I mean, I remember the guy. My uncle went on a bricklaying course and a plumbing course thing in one of the local colleges here, and one of the guys who was with him, was a Polish brain surgeon. Right, training in Britain to become a plumber, because he could earn more money in Britain undercutting, basically working illegally as a plumber in Britain than he could fixing people's brains.
Stop it. Get some help.
So he went and did
be a brain surgeon in the UK.
Well, for some reason, apparently not. I don't know quite why that was the case, but either way, it's a telling reminder of how shit the system is and how we don't financially reward those who deserve it. Actually. Again, I go back to the pandemic. When the bankers had to stay home, the country went on fine. If the shelf stackers went on strike, the country would come to a grinding halt in seconds.
It's a real fucking shame that we had a Conservative government at the time and a Conservative opposition at the time.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say, basically a Conservative party.
Yeah, which never changed the paradigm over what does and doesn't count as being important labour for society. And we broke out the fucking brain poison that says there are people who are the job creators are the ones that add value, and I'm like, no, the people who do the fucking work add the value.
Indeed so.
Just because Elon Musk has got his fucking name slapped onto the board of directors doesn't mean that he provides as much value as the people who actually make the bloody Teslas, or design the Teslas, or design the marketing things to put the Teslas out. He just fucking throws bricks at windows like a deranged man.
Exactly. All of the companies he's supposedly founded, he didn't found any of them. He doesn't make anything. Like, they go, oh, he's going to take us to Mars. No, if we get to Mars, it will be because of the technicians and the scientists and the fucking engineers. He hasn't built anything. He hasn't innovated anything. He sold fucking carbon credits and like 4 cars that are all shit.
Yeah, and took a load of like state subsidy from the United States government.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And on top of that as well, I mean, I think you're being very unfair on Elon Musk. He did actually start a single company. It was called the Boring Company, and what they've done is they have created a tunnel underneath Las Vegas with gamer lights. And if that isn't like a wondrous achievement of engineering, I don't know what is.
Well, yeah, again, the capitalist class, especially the tech bro people, love to pretend they've invented a new thing, and what it is an old thing that they've made worse.
Have you watched the Mia Mulder video on What Three Words?
No. Is it
I
good?
highly recommend it. It's
Okay.
really, really good. Do you know what 3 words is?
I love you. Those are the 3 words, right? No?
True. It is true. And we do love each other. It's been well established. But what 3 words is a tech bro app like Silicon Valley venture capital funded to change latitude and longitude into like a grid of the world, and each grid square can be identified by 3 different words. And I'm like, no, this is just worse than latitude and longitude. But it became this fucking massively pumped venture capital project, and Mia Mulder does a really good video about talking about how venture capital and tech bro reworking things but with tech bro edge and making it worse is just shit, because it's all being done to speculate for shareholder value rather than actually solving any real problems. It's like capitalism just failing to innovate.
Well, that's entirely what makes Elon Musk rich, is just pumping up the fake value of his shit companies. None of that's real. Like when they say, oh, his wealth is now 200 billion. No, it realistically isn't at all anywhere near that amount of money. Like, there's no doubt he's inflated his or increased his amount of wealth because every billionaire has. But there's no way he's gone up to 200 billion from 20 billion on creating nothing. That's fake money. It's just ridiculous.
Like, Tesla has never paid out shareholders. Ever.
No.
It's never had enough an operating profit to actually pay out shareholders at all. It's literally just overinflated value from speculators on speculators on speculators. It's real fucking subprime mortgage crisis shit.
Yeah, it's all fake. Like late stage capitalism is literally just how can we fake pretending that we're still doing good, innovation and economic growth when they're not doing any of that. It's all a fucking pack of lies. It's a house of cards built upon quicksand.
And powered with smoke. Like, yeah, it's just nothing. It's just actual nothing. What fucking good does there's nothing good that's come out. There's nothing materially important that's been taken out of this. Like, Tesla have sold some cars, right? I will grant Tesla at least they've sold some cars, but they've just sold like basic shit. That's not what Elon Musk gets famous for. He gets famous for his dumb like Cybertruck shit. Elon Musk could die tomorrow and Tesla be a more profitable company because they'd be spending less money on his CEO pay and less money on stupid bollocks that they do to do Twitter spaces to launch. And they've just made cheap, viable electric cars for mass market purposes. That's where the money would come from.
Indeed. Hang on, is that literally true? They're on a place called Penis Island. What?
Isn't it joke that it's called Penn Island?
Well, no, I'm sharing what 3 words address to help you find the specific location. Tap to see exactly where it is. The Penis Museum in Iceland. What?
Right. Okay.
Is that a meme? That must be a meme. There's no way it's actually there, is it? Although there is such a thing as the Icelandic Philological Museum is a real thing that does exist, apparently.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. And there's
then also across the road the Phallic Cafe and Bistro. That's fine. Adjoining the Collection Kids children's clothing store. Not sure about that one, Reykjavik, if I'm entirely honest with you.
What is the what 3 words address for that?
I don't know. It's there in the chat. I don't know what the fuck this person is talking about, but God bless them. Kev, did you know that Tesla cars will do software updates that totally rearrange the touchscreen dashboard whether the owner wants it or not? Yeah, it's rubbish. He's a rubbish car maker. I think
What's actually funny is that my dad's just bought an electric car, and I mean, I know it's technically not British anymore, even though it's got MG badging on it. And I was just like, this is hardly an expensive car. This is definitely a mass market product. Why do people need a Tesla that's going to fucking either crash or incinerate itself?
well, that's the thing. And by the way, England had just won. Yes, his cars are terrible, and he keeps going on about like all of this. We're going to have self-driving cars and robo-taxis and blah blah blah. And every year he says the same thing in 2 years, or next year, or by the end of such and such a year. And then a decade after that, it still hasn't happened. Like he's full of shit. Everything like
Absolutely.
He's rubbish. He's a rubbish
And
man.
whilst China, not only China building millions of miles or whatever of high-speed rail, whilst there's still no fucking Hyperloop in California, China are also making better quality and cheaper electric cars in like mass production for the Asian market, like a quarter of the fucking price. Like, what are you doing, Elon? What the fuck are you doing?
Very true.
Do
we have a wild Mike? Hello, Mike.
Yes. Hi, Kevin. How are you?
I'm very well. How the devil are you, sir? It's been a while.
It's been 7 years. No, I'm good. I'm good, thanks. Yes.
Awesome. Good stuff. Do you want to introduce yourself for people who don't remember you, because you've gone over to foreign lands on the other side of the world, known as Germany?
Yeah, I defected a few years ago. I think I used to do a semi-regular thing with Kev about various arseholes.
Yes, fascist, weirdo, freak people. By the way, we're also joined by Helena, as No Justice MTG, who's cool as fuck as well. That's the handshake done.
Absolutely. Hello, welcome. Very lovely to meet you, Mike. Hope you're having a nice day.
Yes, likewise.
Yes, so, Mike, I mean, where do we even start? I suppose we start chronologically. How have you been, I suppose, first and foremost? You were, to some degree, chased out of the nation and all the rest of it. How have the years gone by? Have you been safe? How are the family, etc.?
There's been a lot happening. I've been thinking for years about whether I was truly chased out of the country, but I mean, there was a number of factors. But look, the Tommy stuff definitely played a role, and it wasn't so much him as the wacky acolytes. Some of his fans are, completely batshit, and I was having people turn up at my house. Could have moved, but my wife at the time was German. Could have moved within the country, that is, but my wife at the time was German, so figured that we'd give Germany another go. And to people who say that, running away to Germany to avoid the far right, this is Germany we're talking about. has a thriving and quite visible far right scene. So yeah, it's I find that one infinitely amusing, considering a lot of the stuff going on.
Yes, indeed so. So, firstly, I'm glad you're well. That's awesome. And so there's been some riots and stuff going on, certainly in the UK, involving again your erstwhile sparring Tommy Robinson and the kind of EDL types. What have you made of all of that?
One thing that I am continuously surprised about is that thinking about the last few years, all the legal strife that Tommy has got himself into, quite serious stuff. He's sticking his head above the parapet here and riling the troops up, and yet he still hasn't been pinched for anything. And I mean, he was allowed to slip the country before all of this happened.
That was fucking wild, because he was he was arrested the day before he was due to be banged up.
Yeah,
and not as a flight risk. He didn't have his passport removed from him or anything, and they just let him off. Like, that seems incompetent to the point of like stretching credulity. Frankly,
Yeah, no. Look, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not saying, there's a lot of people who say, oh, he's controlled opposition, whatever. I really honestly don't believe that. But I mean, I think it was just incompetency is probably, yeah. You mentioned,
well,
there
it's
was
exactly
maybe-
because like he literally lives
if we're
in
gonna be-
Spain for fuck's sake. Like what Yeah, go on, sorry.
I mean, if we're gonna make any assumptions about a UK authority, a UK state authority on anything, assuming incompetence is usually a pretty easy assumption to make.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Um, I, I, but I think now that they've sort of seen what, I think there was a perception of Tommy that, he didn't really have the same staying power as he used to have around 2018, say, when he was doing, all the Day of Freedom and all that kind of stuff. And there was definitely more groundswell of support behind him. And I feel like a lot of people had sort of assumed that he'd sort of just died down. And there was a lot, there were many incidences, maybe in the last 2 or 3 years, where he was making a bit of a fool of himself, and he just didn't have the same sort of crowd. But I think that these riots have shown that, yeah, he still does have the pulling power when the conditions are right. And I've sort of been interested in seeing how all of a sudden you're seeing all of these stories from HMRC and other the Irish want to take away his passport.
Lol.
Treasury, the tax man's looking very closely at his dealings now. I mean, they were before, but it's now front page news.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah, I feel like this was, they're scrambling for cover after sort of realizing that what they thought was not necessarily the star that he used to be, has actually still got a lot of staying power. That's that's my perception.
Do you think how relevant do you think his unbanning, or at least him now being allowed back on Twitter, how relevant do you think that was in him being able to rebuild his fan base or his supporter base?
Well, think about it. I mean, the only two social platforms that you're really sort of hearing about, people doing themselves a mischief by saying something and getting arrested, are Facebook and Twitter. And well, I'm not going to call it X, but I feel like a lot of the talk has been about Twitter/X and a lot. What was the name of the woman that was arrested? Bernie Spofforth.
Yes.
With the initial story, I feel like unbanning Tommy was crucial to this all kicking off, because he definitely had the reach, and he could get the news out faster than a lot of these smaller accounts could. And across the pond.
Yeah, and we know from history. I mean, over the last 20 years now, I guess, when he talks, a lot of idiots not just listen but act. He's able to get, and it only has to be a relatively small number of people for it to kick off big time. Because I mean, I imagine the guy that went into Greg's didn't feel particularly strongly one way or another about immigration, really. So you only need a small number of instigators, and then people will jump on the bandwagon type deal. Yeah, he can get a small number of very violent, very dangerous people to start kicking off in pretty much any town up and down the country.
Yeah, but I mean, he's Tommy. He's like, he's. I think he sort of goes above and beyond these, far right mouthpieces. He's his own special thing here. He's not.
Well, they literally chant his name. Yeah. They
don't talk. Yeah, you don't hear that about anybody else.
No.
And I feel like he's also got that reach across the Atlantic in America, with a lot of these figures that have vastly larger audiences than any far right figures in England or Britain.
Yeah.
So that when Musk unblocked him and gave him his account back, he had a reach to all of these figures who could amplify that message to audiences that were far larger than he could have otherwise.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah, no. I mean, he has literally the ear of the, in theory, as previously discussed, probably not richest man in the world.
Yeah,
who literally owns that website. Where, and we'll get on to Andrew Tate shortly. But we saw from the release. What was that? Sorry.
he responds quite often to Tommy. I've
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
3 or 4 tweets that he said had something to say about.
And that's literally what Elon Musk does. For those who don't know, he's got the
Yeah.
algorithm set up so much now that any
Mhm.
tweet he responds with gets pushed very aggressively. So he won't bother
Yeah.
wasting time actually giving you analysis. He'll just say interesting or just
Oh,
an
Concerning.
emoji or like literally just an exclamation point.
yeah, yeah. It's
And the
it's a
algorithm
sign.
sends it out to everyone. Even people like I
Yeah.
don't follow any of these dickheads, and yet my account
Mm,
it's filled with these absolute ghouls.
mm, mm,
It's madness,
I mean,
honestly.
luckily, Blue Blocker has been the best installation I have ever made on Google Chrome, which has
mm,
automatically blocked anybody who I don't follow with a blue tick, which has
mm,
absolutely torn through a bunch of people who I would not want to have in my potential for you feed on Twitter.
mm.
That's fair
It's
enough.
helped
Yeah,
a lot.
Good idea.
very much so. Yeah.
Because it is, apart from people who've been given blue ticks because they
Mm,
are a public figure or because they
mm.
have X amount of followers or X amount of people following them who are also verified. Just
Yeah.
everybody who's bought a blue tick is either somebody who I don't need in my feed because they post inane shit and just doing it for clicks, or because they're all part of this fucking cult, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so just blanket banning them. I've caught some strays, like accidentally blocked Mukhtar, and so now Mukhtar's blocked me back. If you're listening, Mukhtar, I'm sorry, it was blue blocker. But everybody else, like, just do not need them in my feed at all.
Well,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. Sorry, someone asked. That was Blue Blocker. You said
That's right.
Blue Blocker. Okay. Well, you can search for that on your things. Blah blah blah. Anyway,
okay,
sorry,
so
Mike.
that's
Yeah.
on desktop, right?
Well, because the thing is, the blue tick is basically, but it's become like a symbol of being part of the club of the kind of
Mm.
Elon dick riders.
Yeah.
That's what it's become for, like, I mean, lots of people, I guess, at the very least. In that there seems to be like a really big kind of division between the non-blue ticks and the blue ticks based upon whether or not you think what Elon Musk does is, you know, something to be lauded or to be condemned.
Well, the surprising thing to me is, well, not surprising, I just find it highly amusing, is that shortly after the blue ticks came out, they decided, okay, well, blue ticks isn't going to cover every situation due to the very real risk of impersonation. Remember when I think it was Lilly lost a huge amount, the pharmaceutical company Lilly lost a huge amount
Yeah.
on in insulin, and they introduced the because somebody said that they were making insulin free, so they introduced the grey ticks and the yellow ticks. I think grey's government, I want to say, and yellow's like corporate or something. So it's
Yeah.
it's
So
just creating
it was
adding another level.
Yeah, it was
It's
fixing
making
a problem and making it more complicated when it
yeah.
already worked as a thing.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely mad.
Mhm.
Sean did a really good tweet about this, saying how when Elon bought Twitter, he changed a bunch of shit because he thought that the Twitter people, like whoever owned it before, was doing things because they were infected with the woke mind virus, wanted to push wokeness on people. When actually, of course, these were just business people trying to make money. So he's
Mhm.
basically trialed and errored his way into going back to the same paradigm in lots of ways they were before, because he changed it, thought it was too woke, and then realized that it was tanking the amount of people who were actually using the site because it was ease of use, or
Mhm.
it was pushing advertisers because it meant that their content was being advertised next to people with 1488 in their bio.
Yeah. The thing that strikes me about Musk approaching this is I think he loves cosplaying different things. He loves putting on a different sort of costume, and I think that with this, he sort of he wants to sort of relive those days where he was starting companies. Not that he ever started anything that was really his idea, but it's he's sort of taking the approach of move fast and break things, and that's fine when you've got like 10 people and you're a tiny little office, you're a little startup, on the outskirts of San Francisco. But when you're a multi-million, I don't know what the current valuation of X is, but it's when you try to do that, and it's a major sort of communications network still a major communications network for a lot of media professionals, it's just destroying whatever credibility is left. You can't make those kind of decisions. You can't sort of bring, on the spur of the moment, decide that you're going to implement something and hope that it's going to work out for the best, because we've seen time and time and again that these business decisions have completely fucked the site up.
Yeah, absolutely. What have we made of the sentencing and I suppose more importantly, was the from our discussion point of view, the far right's reaction to the two-tier, quote unquote, policing situation.
I mean, the main point that I think of when it comes to two-tier policing is, I think I mentioned this on stream before, but that when lefties go protesting or do demonstrations, for example, we'll get our net poll briefing, the Network for Police Monitoring, beforehand, say these are all the laws that might be in place that you could theoretically break, so don't do that. We need to maximize our optics by not having people get arrested on the street at the demonstration. So, for example, at the big Palestine march, the one which had like 700k or whatever it was, one of the parts of the briefing was they're going to put in a 60 AA order. It's part of the 1994 Public Order Act, which you can't have a face covering on, and they will ask you to remove it. And if you don't, you get arrested. And at like a Tommy Robinson style march on St. George's Day, a bunch of people got arrested because there was a 60 AA order in place, and they just kept on their face coverings. And I'm like, yeah, they think it's two-tier policing because they get arrested because they don't know how to interact with police. Probably because they don't think they should need to interact with, they don't think they should need to learn about how the police work because they think the police should be on their side. It's like the girl on January the 6th was saying, they maced me. There's supposed to be an insurrection. We're storming the Capitol. I'm like, yeah, it's the police's job to stop you. They're not there to protect you from urban people coming into your suburban area, quote unquote, every single possible asterisk around that. No, they're supposed to act the same with everybody. And because what's the phrase where it's like when you're accustomed to privilege, equality feels oppressive? It's that same thing, but multiplied by the fact these people are idiots who don't know how to interact with the police.
Yes. And one thing I'd add about the sentencing is that the people that you're seeing come up are people who there is a wealth of video, like multiple video sources of these people doing these things. There is no question of them doing the things that they are accused of. And oftentimes they've been seen doing more than one thing. So,
Yeah.
They are told when they're nicked that basically that the chances of you sort of getting off at a jury trial are going to be very, very small. So you could just plead guilty. It'll take 3 months off your sentence, and it'll be over and done quicker. And when that gets reported in the media, who are quite often quite sympathetic to some of these people, will sort of say, okay, you got done for something that was relatively minor. Like I can't sort of think about I can't count the number of times when I've sort of seen a story about someone and they've said, oh, he said he sent a rude tweet or something, or during the riot, or he yelled at a policeman, and it comes out that he also threw a brick and someone.
This was a belter. I was just going to sort of move on to a couple of examples of the right lying in order to try and spin this exact narrative, and this is the prime example of it. So the Times and Sunday Times tweeted out this. Oh no, sorry, this was a different example of a different thing, but it's basically the same principle of them claiming one thing. They said, they said chattering monkeys. They didn't. He grabbed the pupil by the neck and threatened to shoot him. Right. But then there was Carl Benjamin, a person we'd covered back in our old days.
Yes.
Again, was
Washing
another
machines live longer with Sargon.
True. Absolute piece of shit. Who again was banned from Twitter and was allowed back on and all the rest of it. He says, "This is absolutely insane. The kid hadn't actually done anything other than wave the England flag. More than 2 years in jail to set an example. Utterly mad." Right? Now,
These days, right?
Yeah, exactly. It is a Stuart Lee bit. Except, of course, that's not what happened. He wasn't just waving a flag. He had firelighters on him and admitted that he planned to set fire to the Islamic Centre he was outside of, admitted to racially aggravated harassment, and he resisted arrest. Brilliant.
But the key word that they use in the article headline is the word after. They'll say after they did a thing. Well, yes, it was after they did a thing. It was also after the Battle of Waterloo. But these things still aren't related, right? The actual charge is what's relevant here. But by using the word after, they can take whatever point they think is best for clickbait and make it seem like it's the motivating factor when really it's just something that happened before the arrest, which actually has nothing really broadly to do with it. You saw that with the Enoch Burke stuff in Ireland, where they say he was fired or was sentenced, or was taken to court, or was charged after misgendering a student at school. And I was like, well, yeah, it was after that, but it was because specifically he violated what's the where you have the thing where you force somebody to not go near someone, a restraining order.
Restraining order.
He violated a restraining order. That's why he was sent to court. But he had a restraining order because he was fired from the school and kept trying to go to the school. So they got a restraining order. Of course, it was, again, as I said, it was after he'd misgendered somebody, but that wasn't the motivating factor behind the fact that he was taken to court.
Mhm. And I just add here, as a member of that particular estate, the press, I've worked as a journalist for many years, since and before the Tommy thing.
Yeah, but Mike is one of the good ones, okay?
Well, I don't know about that. But
put your
Guy
pitchforks down.
Guy gets nicked for something that he's been clearly told is a bad thing, and is set out in teaching statutes or whatever, is a much worse headline than Guy gets nicked for whatever it was, the more sensational headline. It's all about the headlines.
Yes.
90% the headlines. When we're talking about here. So I mean, blame editors.
Oh yeah, exactly. You don't get the click, you don't get the AdSense revenue.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. 100%. And I mean, I think that's a very real problem. But I don't know how you fix that. I don't know how you sort of say, or train editors or members of the media from sort of not going for that easy, juicy headline.
Yeah, people have to start paying for journalism again. One of my friends pointed this out to me. It didn't even cross my mind that this was relevant. But yeah, if people actually paid for journalism through subscription services like Byline Times, for example, I have some issues with Peter Jukes, but in terms of the model that they have, they get to essentially use their platform to be non-clickbaity because they don't rely on AdSense revenue as their business model. They rely on having people who want to read proper journalism paying them money every month to read proper journalism. We don't get that anymore. People expect news for free because they expect to pay for it by looking at adverts.
Yeah, I would say, as somebody who's written for Byline Times, if they went to a free model and were relying on clicks, they would be broken a month. Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
They would be out of business so fast. And I mean, I appreciate what they do, and it's kind of sad because a lot of stories. They've broken a lot of stories, and the Telegraph of all places have picked them up, and I just sort of find that's it's kind of sad that the Telegraph gets the clicks, but somebody who's trying to do something a bit different is not. I feel like they should have more support, but I also think there's a lot of media outlets, independent media outlets in the UK that should be receiving a lot more support. It's just a question.
I'd like the Kevin Logan stream.
Exactly.
Or the No Justice MTG stream. Yeah.
Either stream, which you can support by subscribing on Twitch for $4.99.
Boom. There you go.
For free with Twitch Prime.
True, and bits messages are also a thing. And I must remember to turn the alert box off because if that starts playing, that's going to distract me. Anyway, what do we make of this? Let's say novel legal defense of pretending you didn't do it by just denying it on Twitter by putting a copy and paste thing, as you can see here.
Well, it's very much the redux of the boomer thing where they say, I do not give any permission for people to use my photos on my Facebook profile. Repost.
Yeah, exactly. Like literally, it's the equivalent of just saying I didn't kill them. Well, okay, well that's the claim you're making. That's not going to do anything in court though, because the evidence is all there, guys. Like you can't pretend you didn't do the thing you did because it's very easily provable that you did do it. Actually,
and the people who are doing it are usually putting it there after the fact.
Yeah, exactly.
They've already been saying horrible shit.
Yeah.
So.
Like all of the people who posted it, it's almost in a way. I mean, this won't necessarily hold up in court, but on a sort of social level, if you did post this, even if I know nothing about you, I know you now, And I know that you're a horrible person who did post horrifically racist shit and tried to get riots started.
It's a gift to researchers. It's
Yeah.
a gift.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's something that can be traced, like, in terms of who, copying and pasting between Twitter accounts. It's something that can be actually, visualized, so you can actually sort of see how the shit filters through the system.
Indeed so. Dan Wootton being one of the bigger turds in that system.
Yep.
Yes.
He's a very large turd, isn't he?
He is very turdy. Yes. So I suppose where does this resurgence of the EDL, if you want to call it that, where does that go from here? Do the sentences, which are reasonably harsh, certainly within the guidelines, and that we haven't actually seen the worst of it yet, because obviously the ones done so far are the ones who pled guilty, right? Or the ones that
jury trials coming up, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And there are some that are looking at possible life in prison for like reckless endangerment of life and attempted murder and terrorism charges and all sorts, and rightly fucking so.
Literally, they did whole terrorist attacks, and it infuriates me that people are not describing what they are as what they are.
Yes.
Because white people did it. That's just why.
Yeah, exactly. If Muslims had done half of this shit, you would not hear the last of it. 100%. So yeah, where do we think this kind of resurgence of idealism, for want of a better phrase, where do we think that goes? Do we think that it gets tamped down by the prosecutions, or does this spark them into more life because of the righteous indignation at two-tier Kia?
The two-tier thing, I think, is really sort of becoming some, like, I didn't sign up to them. Someone signed up to them for me, but I get Tommy's emails, and Tommy's ranting and raving about political prisoners now. That's his new grift.
Oh wow!
And you can sort of see that that's going to be something that he's going to be sort of focusing on. Looking at these families, you'll find some poor family with some, dickhead who went and threw a brick at a cop, and you'll sort of make another film about that kind of thing. I think that's what's going to be happening on the far right side, on the side of these actual grifters. They're going to sort of be focusing on the fact that these are just hardworking Britons who, venting their frustrations, and then the Stalinist Keir Starmer justice system destroyed them. I don't know. Like, I think there's been a lot of talk in the media about a lot of media outlets were sort of dancing around saying, it was inspired by the EDL, but I think there's enough people coming out now and sort of saying, the EDL does not exist. But I don't think it's going to get much purchase and sort of within the popular imagination.
Well, that's one of the reasons that trying to make the EDL a prescribed group wouldn't necessarily work, because it doesn't functionally exist as an organisation. But when I say EDLism, obviously that's more kind of the mindset of these people, and there's definitely that kind of fake patriot fucking bullshit that those sort of northern infidel type people live within. And I think that this was quite scary to see that back in action when it seemed like it had been dead for a little while.
Well, haven't most of the EDL types folded into patriotic alternative anyway?
Yeah, exactly. They've all sort of melded into either the kind of PA people or at least the infidel groups, as they call themselves. That's not me. I'm not doing that. I haven't come out as a Muslim and say calling them infidels. They call themselves infidels. They're ridiculous people.
Splintering going on. I mean, hasn't patriotic alternatives splintered into 3 or 4 separate groups? Yeah, I mean, it's very fragmented. There's no cohesive body.
It is a bit People's Front of Judea. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. But it's still scary because, unfortunately, I mean, as we described, they've been doing terrorism, right? On a lower level, we've seen an increase in both anti-Muslim and anti-Semitic attacks and things like that, attacks on immigrants. And it's not just sparked by kind of quote-unquote extreme people, but by the mainstream discourse around migration. Literally, within a couple of weeks of this happening, we had the supposedly democratic socialist government of the United Kingdom coming out and doing stop the boats rhetoric, and we've seen the newspapers going mad because 400 people arrived via boats and stuff. Like, they're stoking the fire, and it's still smouldering, guys. Like, we didn't even fucking put it out yet.
Well, I would say one thing. I feel like, in the world of the media, when the headline, sorry, not the headline, the links, the ad revenue is everything. When something isn't working, your average editor at his desk is going to say, okay, let's just turn back to the boats.
Yeah.
And it's really that simple. It's not, I think it's something that works, and they just try hammering it until it stops working. Seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's grotesque. The same people going, trying to look for blame, and they will blame anyone. They'll blame Elon Musk, or they'll blame Tommy Robinson. And don't get me wrong, as previously described, they are to blame as well for this. But you can't just point and call them Farage riots and then think it's done, as if Nigel Farage is the be-all and end-all of why this took place. Look in the mirror, guys. If you're in the media, or if you're in government, and you've been pushing this same fucking shit, the blood is on your hands too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's again, it's the respectability element of this that I find kind of most galling in a sense. Tommy Robinson quite rightly gets attacked for what he is, but I feel like he gets more shit because he doesn't do it in a respectable way, whereas Isabel Oakeshott, who's just as fucking odious and has just as fucking awful beliefs, she's a posh girl who writes in the paper. Well. You know, so that's fine. No, I didn't. What did she said today?
I literally just the mass deportation she was calling for, like real.
Well, exactly, yeah. She's Tommy Robinson, but with a plummy voice. So, and she writes for the Telegraph, so that's fine. Like, if you're part of the establishment, you can just be a fucking fascist, and it doesn't seem to stick with them at all. It's disgusting.
And she's boning a deputy leader of one of our main political parties.
Allegedly.
No, I think that's open knowledge, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Oh, well, there you go. Well, I didn't know that.
Her and Tyson together. Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. Well, there you go. Well, that's all the more reason why, this is fucking horrible.
Yeah, it's particularly galling because we've seen, figures like Oakeshott and, the papers and Farage over the last couple of years stacking the wood, stacking the kindling, making it perfect, and then pulling out every so often pulling out the petrol can and just dousing the whole thing with gasoline, and then Tommy's the one who gets the shit for throwing a match near it.
Yeah.
Whereas they have structurally created the conditions in which these kind of things could happen.
Indeed, yeah. No, she's not. She's not fucking Angela Rayner. Clearly, chat. Don't be silly. Okay, not that deputy leader. Yeah, they absolutely have. Like you say, stacked the kindling, and then sort of waited for the fire, knowing that, as you said, when it's clicks, isn't it? This has been great fodder for them. They've sold a lot of newspapers. They've got a lot of clicks from all of this. If it bleeds, it leads. So they've essentially took to making stuff bleed instead of allowing it to bleed and then reporting on it. They're the ones sort of instigating racist pogroms, and that's look. It's disgusting, as No Justice pointed out, that it's not being described as terrorism. These were race pogroms that were taking place. You have Romanians being pulled out of fucking cars and attacked. You've had migrant, essentially the detention centres, for want of a better phrase, being burned down with people locked inside. Like, I don't know how else to describe it.
The thing is that people could say, people could make the argument, or they were just angry at the idea that the hotels were being used, so they were committing arson as an act of indiscriminate violence against the symbolic nature of the hotel as a place where asylum seekers go. But no, they didn't do that. They blockaded the entrances and exits to the hotel because they knew that people would try to escape, and they didn't want them to escape. They wanted to fucking kill them. This is a terrorist attack. Like, that's what that is. The explicit goal, if you're blockading people in the building you're trying to burn down, is to murder these people. Like, this is not just random acts of violence. This is a planned terrorist attack.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%, absolutely, yeah. I suppose as a journalist, what would it take for the press to be less shite, Mike? Give me some hope.
I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this, but more regulation. Seriously.
Oh, communism, is it?
Yeah, no, it's the only thing that will work. Fining, make it pay. make starting this kind of shit pay. I mean, there's a clear through line here. The government does not have the teeth to sort of pursue this course of action, but really there is a case to be made for sort of clearly linking this to reporting that's appeared in particularly the English media over the last couple of years, and that it's yeah, it could be prosecuted, but finding the shit out of papers that are seen to sort of be peddling falsehoods, because a lot of the time when you investigate these stories about immigration particularly, you will find that at their root there are massive inaccuracies, which not necessarily activists, but people who are involved in migration and lawyers who are working can basically disprove within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But they just do not have the reach.
Yeah.
The only thing
That's the thing, yeah.
The only thing the papers care about is money. That's all they care about.
And that's the thing as well, is the whole idea of illegal immigration. It's like they're being lied to. Illegal migrants are ones who outstay their visas, or who don't claim asylum, or don't leave after their asylum claim has failed. People who arrive via irregular means, via small boat, and then claim asylum, that is a legal and recognised way to do that. They're not illegal. They are just asylum seekers. But there's a rhetorical flourish. It's agitprop by the Conservative Party to label them as being illegal migrants. And then both the opposition, which is now the government, the Labour Party, have continued that rhetoric, which is completely false. And the papers just parrot it because the Tories had the Illegal Immigration Act. Now, just because it's called that doesn't make any of the people inside that the legislation refers to as illegal. But it's just rhetorical. It's a rhetorical thing to make people think the people who are coming in boats are somehow illegal people, which is so fucking grotesque.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, you're quite right. No, a lot of this was spurred in theory by foreigners travelling across borders to do sex crimes and awful things in foreign people's countries, and then not facing the justice that maybe they should have done a lot earlier. Which brings us on to Andrew Tate. Let's go. Right, Andrew Tate, your another erstwhile sparring partner of yourself, literally turned up at your fucking house in his Bugatti, if I remember correctly, a long time ago, and posted an incredibly threatening post about basically "I know where you live" type thing, which in itself should have been actionable, I think, legally speaking, but the police
I think so. There
shite.
was quite a few messages like that, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, I would suggest it is here or there, because if people had cracked down on this shit a long time ago, perhaps it wouldn't have gotten to this stage. But maybe
exactly. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but still, one can't focus on this too much, otherwise it gets a bit.
It
bit
does.
funny.
It does.
Yes.
But yes, so Andrew Tate arrested yet again. This time for noncing charges.
Am I right in saying that the total number of people involved in this latest, I guess the latest arrest was 35? I mean, 35 victims, that's what I'm
35 victims, yes, including one that was the age of 15 when the crimes, or when the alleged crimes, we should say, took place. And we have to say alleged for legal reasons, but of course, as I played this for No Justice the other day as well. There's literally clips of him from years ago boasting about having done this, about having a woman at the time who was 21 who he said he'd been dating for 6 years. Well, the mathematics tells me that's 15 years old when you started having sexual intercourse with her. You are a pederast. According to your own words, Andrew Tate.
I think I read something today about they were just talking about the sheer amount of evidence, and it's something like 100 boxes of written evidence, and each of those boxes of evidence is something like 500 pages. I can't remember the exact figure, but it's a stunning amount of evidence, and it would suggest that a lot of that has come from statements, from videos, from things that they've made themselves.
Yeah.
The difference here is that there's a lot more wiretaps. Yeah, there's a lot more wiretaps involved in actual private conversations, which I think really does.
Yeah.
And the playing field.
It's so funny that you mentioned that, because during the arrest of both he and his brother and various other sundries, and the search of the house and all the rest of it, he was literally screaming, "Where's the evidence?" Asking the media to ask them to show the evidence. Blah blah blah. Motherfucker, we know the evidence. Like, I've watched your videos for years. I know the evidence. I reckon I, as a non-legally trained person, could put a reasonable case together that you might be a pederast, actually, or certainly are a sex trafficker. You know,
it's literally the Austin Powers moment that we talked about on stream the other day.
It literally is, yeah.
One receipt for incriminating evidence signed by Andrew Tate.
Yeah, it's not my bag. Honestly, international sex crime rings are not my bag, baby. Yeah, it's literally his fucking deal now. It's ridiculous. And I mean, you literally you tweeted out, didn't you, that you think? Oh, I don't know if you were joking necessarily, but you tweeted out just a few minutes ago that you think that Tristan might flip on him. That's Tristan Tate, his brother, who is also a co-defendant in this case.
He doesn't look nearly as cocky.
No, he did look.
There's a look in his eyes.
He did definitely look pretty upset by the entire experience, which is kind of funny, you know. Yeah. Hang on. Do I have the thing clipped? Oh, I don't think I do. Hang on. I'll go onto your thing and show everyone. Yeah, he looked nervous as fuck outside of the there it is, right. This was Tristan Tate looking like he's literally just shat himself or something outside of the courtroom yesterday. That does not look like the man who is rock solid in his belief that he's going to be found not guilty.
He's very much considering his options.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I think considering that they're both kind of fucked in this case, it does make sense that he would do that. But I think they're both up for potential crimes in the UK and possibly even in the USA as well.
Yeah. No, there are very few places that he can go from here.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, Dubai doesn't have like he was talking about going to Dubai because Dubai doesn't have an extradition treaty with the UK. So, but I don't think he's going to be able to get there.
No, exactly. Well, he's literally sort of trapped in Romania, isn't he?
Yeah.
At least in part because God Almighty, the Aidan Ross, another one of these fucking creeps, who himself has some very iffy clips of him with underage people. But anyway, regardless, who's a big friend of Andrew Tate's, revealed that he was planning on jumping the country when he was up for the initial charges. And then the Romanians went, "Oh, okay, you can't leave the country then." In fact, I don't think he's even allowed to leave the environs of Bucharest, I believe, is the furthest he can travel.
Yeah, friends like that, who needs enemies?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. They're not, when the far right are sending their people, they're not sending their best. Unless they are, in which case they're fucked, I guess, you know. Yeah, so there must be a certain sense of schadenfreude. Would that be right? Oh, I don't know if joy is the right thing, considering the charges, but, like, you must feel a certain vindication. After so long.
Well, I mean, again, you can spend a lot of time sort of thinking about, okay, well, I was trying to tell people about this guy years ago, and to an extent, yeah, that's true. Like, there are people like me and you, Kevin, who were saying that this guy was a wrong un years ago, and that he was doing some terrible things. That this was a very real danger, but. Yeah, no, I'm just glad it's being taken seriously. It's
I mean, loads of stuff from like the Hustlers University shit that was posted in like the Discord. Yeah, it was all just they were very open with the things that they were doing, the manipulation tactics.
Yeah. I mean, there was a phase where I was like, you can see this shit. They're not masterminds. They're writing it down.
Yeah, well, exactly. So there's so many interviews where he literally describes word for word what the play is, and that's what he's now being accused of, right? Like, some of the charges revolve around them coercing underage people to perform sex acts on camera, which is a thing he literally boasted about, doing the lover boy technique, where you essentially get an impressionable younger person to fall in love with you, and you can then coerce them into doing sex acts on camera so that you make money. He was open and boastful about this for years on camera. And now he's being charged with it. All of his supporters are like, it's a stitch-up job. What? What does he have to do to show you that this is the creature he is? You know?
Yes. Well, what I want to say about this, and I think it's valid for Tate and it's valid for for Tommy as well is that, for these figures, they find a sweet spot where they can say and do the most outrageous things. They can actually talk about their crimes. They can really really push it. They can cause all manner of strife. But if it's the wrong kind of strife, and only a little bit of the wrong kind of strife, governments will step in. Like, think about think about Andrew Tate. He was getting away with that shit for years. And then he started saying that, yeah, I get away with it because I'm in Romania. Romania's a shithole.
Yeah, he literally
Well,
said
did he specifically say, I'm moving to Romania because the laws involving things like sexual abuse are more lenient over there?
And
Something to that effect.
Talking a lot of shit. And and when he got traction, when he was, essentially he gamed TikTok and other platforms to get the videos out, that was starting to filter through that kind of wave of Tate videos that were everywhere, and the Romanian government was going to put up with that.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, look, he boasted about, like you said, the consent laws being certainly far more lax. The age of consent is lower apparently in Romania as well. Again, Romania, I'd sort that out if I were you.
That's what it was, yeah. So the consent laws were more muddy. That's what he said.
And he said that Romanian police were easier to bribe, which again, bragging about wanting to do crimes like financial bribing of officials, it's probably not a great thing for your defence. And eventually Romania is a country that understandably has to try and guard what little prestige it has on the world stage. It's not going to accept its name being dragged through the mud in this way. It wants to be a kind of progressive modern nation within the European family of nations, within the EU. It's not going to put up with some English dickhead or English/American dickheads turning up and making it look like an absolute backwater. It's not
exactly.
It's not going to tolerate that shit.
I mean, know a fair few Romanians, and they say Romania has come an extraordinary distance in the last 30 years, and in the last 10 years, it's come light years. I mean, there are, it has its problems, but a lot of Romanians are justifiably proud of what the country has become now. And any sort of having this basically a sex trafficking pimp who is up on all sorts of child sex crimes, reinforcing old stereotypes, he's going to get stomped on.
Yeah, exactly. They don't want to encourage child predation, sex tourism in Romania. Jesus Christ!
Yeah, it's hardly marketing material, is it?
No, you don't put that on the old tourist information board, do you? You know what I mean? Like that is, you're gonna get slapped down, and that's obviously very good. Now, we'll have to wait and see, obviously, how the kind of legal case progresses. But naturally, Tommy and his ilk, who spent the last few weeks rioting like fuck to protect women and girls, apparently, have come out defending him. Which is
so it was never about grooming gangs.
No, it was never about grooming gangs. No, or indeed foreigners doing grooming gangs inside other people's countries. Apparently, that's fine when it's Andrew Tate doing it. Allegedly. Yes, literally, Tommy posted this. Appalling shithole of a video, which we can take a look at if you want to, of defending his boy, coming out in defence of a man charged with fucking a 15-year-old. It's not exactly the first time he's ever defended a far right nonce, though, is it? But it's
no.
It's
all of that performative anger about grooming gangs was short-lived, wasn't it?
It was indeed. It was indeed.
Me give you my thoughts on Andrew Tate's arrest. Okay, so the media will do the elite's job for him because everyone will celebrate.
It would be the easiest thing in the world. He could get some. Not that I'm saying that he could get a lot of credibility back, but there would be at least some consistency with his attacks on these supposed grooming gangs. If he sort of said, what I said, I was friends with Andrew. We come from the same place, but this is beyond the pale. But he doesn't.
Yeah, we should point out that they literally both come from Luton, don't they? Which again,
it's a complete lack of moral consistency here.
Indeed. So but he realises that his grift is tied up with Andrew Tate's grift.
Exactly, that's what I'm
so
I'm sort of thinking.
Yeah, he literally can't do it. Yeah. Can you, by the way, is the audio coming through okay for everyone? Of this video, that is.
We can't see it.
Did I not share it with you?
No.
Oh, right. So I was just sat there in silence for you two for 10 seconds. Okay, fair enough. Apologies. Where are we? Bookmark. Oh, there we go. I clicked the wrong fucking one. My bad. Right, there we go. Apologies.
Me give you my thoughts on Andrew Tate's arrest. Okay.
Jesus, look
So,
at that
The
vein.
media will do.
Look at what? Sorry.
Look at that vein on his forehead.
Yes, that is not a
That's a lot of coke.
it's well, allegedly. It could just be
Allegedly.
stress from his very difficult life that he has to work hard.
Yes. Alleged. Look at that throbbing vein, which could be just his righteous anger,
It could be. It could be.
or you know,
Or
bit of the old
bit of
marching
jazz.
powder.
Yeah.
The elite's job for them anyway, because everyone will celebrate the fact. Whatever the media say, they'll say sexual allegations, they'll say this, headlines will be pumped, not left-wing media, right-wing media. Everyone will convict him before he's even been tried, yeah? Happens innocent until proven guilty. Now, when you look at who he's battling against, who we're all battling against.
If that's, well, look, it'd be a lot easier to prove you guilty if you turned up to your court cases, Tomo.
Yeah.
Would be my point with it, you know. Why are you in Spain, mate? Weren't you up in court like a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, I just don't understand why he goes outside and takes these videos when when was the when he was in Cyprus, he took videos of at a very recognizable location, and you know, people
Yes.
out there can find you in 5 seconds flat. It's like he wants to be found. He loves it. It's part of the martyr complex for him.
I think so, yeah.
They invade countries illegally, Iraq, kill 1 million people. After September the 11th, yeah? The terrorist attack, yeah?
Hang on, what? Is he coming out as a 9/11 truther?
Oh, he's so close to something.
He's, like, literally, he just did the air quotations around terrorist attack. What?
Yeah.
So what was it then? A righteous martyrdom against the American devil? What are you coming? You coming out as pro Al Qaeda or something? What? Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
If you look at the lengths they'll go to, they've spent trillions, billions, if not trillions, on getting the world they want the way they want it. They've stole elections. They've ousted prime ministers. They've overthrew democracies in Ukraine. Yeah? And the whole time they do that, the corporate globalist media lie to you all to get you conditioned to think a certain way. Okay? They want the population weak. They want men weak. Along comes Andrew Tate. What lengths do you think they'll go to finish him? They tried to cancel him. When you think about it, when he was cancelled by everyone, banks closed, this happened to me, you know that influential people, some of the most influential people in the world, have sat around tables and decided he's got to go. Yeah? So they thought they got rid of.
Is that a bit of JQ posting?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's quite close to some protocols business.
Yeah, it is a little bit odd, isn't it, that this guy with very close connections to Israel is JQ posting.
Yeah,
Very.
I mean, it's almost like there are plenty of people who really enjoy the idea of the state of Israel because it's a place where they can send all the Jews to.
Yes.
I'm not saying that's what Tommy thinks, but there are certain people who definitely do think that.
And, of course, Israel is very good at killing Muslims. Which is
Double,
also a
double,
thing
double.
that some people, not necessarily Tommy, but some people would find exhilarating. Just a thought for you.
Rid of him. But then he blew up and he continued to blow up. So what's next? What's next? And will you just believe what they say? Because I don't believe a word they say. Yeah? And the reason I don't believe a word they say is because they're falsely imprisoned me. And whilst falsely imprisoned me, tell the world.
Falsely imprisoned you for the tax evasion that you definitely did.
yeah.
Like you did,
Well,
you did do that, Tomo.
What were the times he's been banged up? I mean, I can't remember. There was one time he was banged up earlier before he was banged up for the not the Jamal business, but the threatening the trials one.
Oh yeah, no, he got imprisoned for the contempt of court. That was the threatening the trials. Before that, he was arrested and imprisoned for, did he do 12 months or something? For the
I don't think it was even 12 months. I think
was
it was
it
6 months or something.
oh something like that for his the tax evasion thing on selling his property, and he said it was a clerical error. No, a clerical error gets sorted out at the office and you pay the tax and all the rest of it. You put in the wrong information. You're a bullshitter. Before that, of course, he was arrested. I think he was, because he was relatively speaking, one of the first offences. When he was trying to physically assault his then fiance, and a police off-duty police officer stepped in, notified them that he was a police officer, and then he punched him in the face. So assaulting a police officer, probably not a wise thing to be doing. He's also been charged with all manner of football hooligan-related minor offences.
Who was it who got implicated with that like refugee, like the son of a refugee, who got like mocked and bullied by
that was
like white
That was
nationalists?
him. That was Jamal Hijazi. The what's the name of the town?
Huddersfield?
Huddersfield. Yeah, Huddersfield.
Yeah.
I want to say Huddersfield, but I'm not sure. That was him. That was him.
Huddersfield
that's
or Wakefield, one of the fields. Yes.
That's his current legal troubles, because he's refused to stop talking shit about him. So he's up for.
Oh, here we
he's up for
go.
that.
So, non-binary with coming through here, right? So he's faced key instances of imprisonment and arrest: 2005 assault conviction, 2011 arrest for violent disorder, 2012. Oh, this is a nice one for an anti-illegal immigrant guy. Sentence for entering the US illegally. I remember that one.
Okay. Yep.
He used someone else's passport to enter the United States and got kicked out. Nice. 2014 mortgage fraud, 18 months in prison. Nice. 2017 suspended sentence for contempt of court, and 2018 contempt conviction leading to a 9-month sentence. And again, because he broke laws, he was probably going to end up banged up in the nick had he turned up, as he should have done legally, for his case. Was it 3 weeks ago in London as well? Interesting, and then bailed on the court. So basically, all of this threat and bluster he keeps doing about, I'm going to turn up at this person's house and that person's house. No, you're not, Tommy. As soon as you turned up at the airport, there's an arrest warrant out for you. You'd be nicked before you stepped onto the country.
It's also funny these people talk all incessantly about, oh well, immigrants, they do all the crime, and I'm just like, do they though?
The man's a one-man
might be coming from
crime
inside the house.
He's a one-man crime spree.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and of course he lives abroad as well. These foreigners going over there doing crimes and shit.
I pleaded guilty. Yeah? I'm sitting in jail cell watching the news saying I pled guilty. I didn't get asked to plead. All I've done was asked the paedophile how he felt about his verdict. They lied to you. They told you I incited violence against him. It's like, what?
No. You filmed on court property, which you knew was an illegal act. You knew you weren't allowed to do that under the law. But ironically, I don't think it would be illegal now. But at the time, it was. At the time, that was contempt of court, which, by the way, he'd already previously been convicted of in a court case in Southampton, doing exactly the same thing, and was specifically told in the judgment by the sentencing judge on that occasion, if you do this again, you will go to prison. And they still gave him a suspended 9-month sentence anyway. So he's just a bitch. He's just a bitch moaning.
Two-tier policing strikes again.
Exactly. Fucking kid gloves when it comes to the far right.
Well, literally, it's just like, it reminds me literally when the Twitter files came out and all the right wingers were like, oh, look at all of these marks that are on like the libs of TikTok. They've been marked by Twitter. And I'm like, yeah, they've been marked to be handled with kid gloves.
Yeah.
They've been marked to be treated as special cases to flout the rules as many times as they like.
Well, we know from the algorithm that was released, that was, let's say, surreptitiously obtained and released, that there are a list of accounts, including Andrew Tate, for whom no penalty is ever to be affixed for anything they do. So it doesn't matter what they do, if you complain, they will not be censored in any way whatsoever. So you can literally, in theory, they could post literally anything. Any swear word, any curse, any threat, anything. And
any violation of TOS.
Yeah,
right?
it would be
Remember that
absolutely
time
fine.
when everyone was just like, oh, well, the Taliban aren't getting banned from Twitter. And I'm just like, there are people out there who literally, their job is to violate the terms of service. They don't get kicked off, right? And if the Taliban are good enough at message discipline to be able to post is like Salafi Wahhabist agitprop on the Bird app and not get their tweets removed, yet you can't help breaking the TOS. Like, I feel that's a skill issue.
Yeah. Indeed, yeah. By the way, Era 32, you can get fucked, mate. What was it? They wanted diversity in Germany, so they got it. Well, get fucked. Just go away. Fucking racist pricks. Anyway, but if you type cisgender into Twitter, that will be marked. That will be flagged because that's hate speech, apparently. Amazing.
I mean, it's hate speech because it makes Elon Musk mad because he realizes he's a terrible father.
True.
Yeah.
The video's there for people.
Go on, sorry?
No, it's all good. You let the man speak.
Okay.
See, but they don't bank on people watching a video, they bank on people listening to their media, yeah? Which is what they're going to do now with Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan, yeah? So question everything, especially if you're my supporters and you're sitting there commenting saying, I don't like this man, he's this, he's that. Question everything, yeah? You've seen what they've done with me, okay? He is a voice, whether he's converted, whether he's Islamic, no matter what he is, yeah? He's a voice against the Matrix. Who's the Matrix? The most influential elite who have stole your election in America, yeah? Who have weakened our country, who have destroyed our nations, who have opened our borders, yeah?
It's just straightforward JQ posting. I don't know how else to say that. That's
Yeah,
just
it's cultural Marxism bullshit.
Yeah. It really is. It's protocols of the learned elders of Zion shite. They stole your
George Soros and the
election.
World Economic Forum. I wonder what they could be stand-ins for.
Yeah. Literally, it was going on about... I seem to allude to the idea that 9/11 was staged in order for them to do the war in Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck are you talking about, you mad cunt? Jesus. Anyway, but on a good piece of news, they are taking Andrew Tate's cars, which is nice.
Yeah, all 30 of them apparently.
Wrecked. What's he going to do with his Bugatti? How will he survive? The poor love.
I was under the suspicion that quite a few of them were rented anyway.
Yeah, look, he's nowhere near as rich as he claims to be. Yeah.
I think when they say that they took all 35 cars and they sort of, the headlines sort of says 35 sports cars. No, there'll be some cars that are directly linked to driving people around.
Yeah, to potentially criminal activity.
Yeah, they don't just take a sports car because they just want to flex on you.
True, although it would be one hell of a flex.
Quite a flex. Yeah.
I'd be fine with the Romanian authorities just dunking on him, in all honesty. That's fine by me. I'm okay with a bit of spite-based politics. So, yeah, like as I previously said, he's up for these cases in Romania, which could take some time because they're quite complicated things to get through legally. And then he's potentially going to be extradited to the UK, along with his brother, to face charges here as well, which is like he's going to end up in prison somewhere, surely.
Yes, I don't think I would. My gut feeling says that the Romanians are going to arrest him for quite some time.
Yes. Oh yeah, no, he's not going anywhere.
No, imprison him for quite some time. That he's not going to see daylight for a few years. I just get that impression. You don't talk that much shit and cause that much trouble, and yeah, the only way I sort of think that he doesn't do that is that, obviously, I mean, he's openly talked about how he sort of bought his way into casinos in Romania, into the casino world, and he has to have some dirt. So if it's a relatively light sentence, I am going to suspect that he had a word to Decot, and
yes, and maybe spilled the tea on some very dangerous Romanian people, potentially. Yeah.
Yes, paradoxically, Andrew Tate could be the best thing that's happened to law and order in Romania for quite some time.
Yeah, imagine if he accidentally takes down the Romanian mafia or something. That would be quite something. Yeah, lovely. I mean, any more for any more, because I think we've basically exhausted the things we wanted to talk about, or that I wanted to talk about. Any final thoughts, Michael?
Just keep on doing what you're doing. It's important.
Thank you.
I feel like not nearly enough spotlight. Well, not nearly enough attention put onto some of these figures in quite the same way as you do, because I think there's a lot of people who do a lot of pussyfooting around when it comes to these figures.
Yes. I think so. Yes. Can we shout him out? Yeah, shout Mike out. Mike, where can people find you on the socials and various
My
places?
Stuchbery on X, Twitter, whatever it's calling itself these days. Blue Sky, and Thread. I do a lot of tweeting about history and other ridiculous shit. But yeah, when the mood takes me, I'm still in the fight against these. Yeah.
It's a good combination of like dunking on far right people and then like pictures of amazing old German buildings and shit. It's quite something. It's a real contrast. It's lovely.
It's quite a roller coaster, and to be associated with whiplash.
Indeed, so.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, thank you for coming on. Any final thoughts from you on this topic? No justice.
No, I think we covered most things.
Cool.
I think we pretty thorough in this one.
Indeed, so indeed. Well, I'll let you go, Mike. And you can
Great.
go and do whatever you're going to do in Germany for the next. I'll speak to you again in 5 years.
Go to bed.
Yeah.
Rockstar lifestyle of the
Yeah.
social media.
And I'll
cool.
speak to you again in many years as is
Yeah,
our
well,
way now.
yeah, I'm happy to come back anytime.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm starting to write a bit more about far right assholes here in Germany, so you should hear some more.
Yes,
in the coming
absolutely. Yeah, no, we'll have to talk about the German.
Germany seems turbo fucked right now.
Oh, absolutely fucked. But I feel like there's a whole show in that, so we should tee that up sometime.
Yes, indeed. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks for jumping on, Mike. And much
It was
love.
lovely to meet you, Mike.
Yeah, lovely to meet you too. Good night, all. Cheers.
No.
Take care. Bye bye.
I didn't have anything else planned after this, so I don't even know what.
I literally had no idea what I was going to stream about tonight. Although, just in general, have you seen a lot of people doing waiter, my order is wrong over the Labour government? Have you seen all of this?
Oh yeah. So the people buyer's remorse, so to speak, on having voted Labour.
Yeah, literally, somebody just said, "Oh, I feel a bit bad about voting Labour." Then the quote tweets is a mixture of people going, "Yeah, we told you they'd be just like the Tories," and other people going, "I've never voted Labour. Last time I voted Labour was in 1979, and it was a big mistake. There's a reason why people regret voting Labour because they're terrible in government." And I'm just like, well, they shouldn't be. They should be good in government. They're supposed to be the party that's good in government. The Tories, the ones who are terrible in government. And but no, there's people who are right wingers who think that they're being too soft on the immigrants. I'm like, they're promising mass deportations, mate. They're literally aping your whole shtick.
True, very true.
So we did a whole thing on James O'Brien yesterday,
Okay.
who essentially, I think he said, wasn't it terrible? It's bad that they're taking away the winter fuel payment. But the problem is it won't be very good for the Labour Party. But I don't think they'll care because they've got a massive majority. And I'm like, I did a whole fucking reaction video to you saying how it was fine that they had a massive majority because they're the good guys. They're the red team. They're the good guys. They don't do anything bad with their big majority. And now, after convincing people to give them their massive majority, they're completely unassailable and doing awful shit like taking money away from cold old people.
Yes, the bullshit of these fucking Labour Starmerite grifter pricks going, they won't do anything bad. It'll be fine actually because they've got a conscience. Adults in the room, sensibles, and then they've just carried on continuity austerity. Like literally, what have they done that's been fucking like fundamentally positive?
The thing as well is that people make comments. They say things like, or they have said things in my replies, like, "Oh, they've only been in government for 8 weeks or whatever. Like, you can't judge them on such a short time period. They've not been in very long to do things." I'm like, I think that's perfectly reasonable to say we can't expect them to fix everything. But what they've done is they took away winter fuel payment for pensioners for no fucking reason. That's the problem. They took away a thing that they said they weren't going to take away. This is just a lie.
Yeah.
They didn't need to do this. If they don't have any impetus to be able to do good things, why is it so easy for them to do bad things within these first 6 weeks?
Well, exactly, yeah. Hello there, Boy Meets Mini. Everyone go follow Boy Meets Mini. God, they seem worse than the Democrats. They are. They fundamentally are to
literally.
the right of the Joe Biden fucking Democrats. They're atrocious. You can't, like you say, you can't say in 8 weeks they need to have fixed everything, and no one would, no in their right mind would expect that to be the case. That's clearly ridiculous, right? What we were expecting is some signs of something positive, some signs that actually fundamentally they have a different approach to the way in which government is going to operate, and they haven't done that. We've seen the same shit. We've seen the same callous Tory bullshit.
Yeah, we've seen blocking the idea of removing the 2-child benefit cap, taking away money from pensioners for winter fuel payments. We've seen them taking away anti-androgens for trans teenagers. We've seen them cancel a bunch of capital investment projects and things like local rail regeneration, which is necessary for economic growth that they say that they want. They have had loads of impetus to immediately do things that shit.
Yeah.
Why not do the good things quickly?
Exactly, especially because they won't have had any parliamentary oversight of it either. Because Parliament hasn't been sitting because of the summer break, and then you've got conference and all the rest of it. Like, they could have pushed through a lot of shit, and they've done awful crap. Like, literally, even the good things that they have done, like cancel the Rwanda thing, close the Bibi Stockholm floating concentration camp thing, right, haven't been done even for good reasons. It's because they were financially ineffective. They're still going to do the same anti-immigrant bullshit. They just want it to be more cost-effective for them to be racist cunts. Like, they're awful. They're fucking trash.
Yeah, it's been really shit, hasn't it?
Really
Barry
is.
Brown says in chat that Phil from A Different Bias uploaded it was a video, there was a take on Twitter saying, well, actually, Labour shouldn't build council houses because the Tories would just sell them. Then fucking end right to buy. Right to buy. You have a fucking 170 seat majority. You could literally end right to buy immediately if you wanted to. End right to buy and build some council houses. If you're worried about that, then stop them. And I'm just like, the level of engagement with political possibility from these people is just like it's in the
Also,
somewhere in the ground. It's somewhere the Earth's core.
No, look, I feel from different bias. I don't think he's a bad person, so I don't want to be too horrifically mean here. But what level of cockery do you have to be at to make that argument? That's pathetic. What a spineless attitude. Yeah, the Tories are going to do bad shit, but the whole thing is, we progress, and it might only be very slowly, by Labour doing lots of good stuff and the Tories rolling some of it back. But hopefully Labour do enough good stuff that actually the net positive over that period of time is something, and you can grow from there, right? Just because they're going to undo it doesn't mean you shouldn't do it in the first place, because that just means we're in a net negative situation, because you didn't do the good things, and they're still going to do the fucking bad things. Like,
yeah, exactly.
What's your argument here? We shouldn't fight because they might punch us back. Okay, well, just sit there and get fucking kicked to death then. No.
I guess it's just like the Democrats just not codifying Roe versus Wade.
Yeah.
Well, you can't elect them. They'll get rid of Roe versus Wade, which they did do. You had a fucking trifecta under Obama. Why didn't you fucking codify it in the same way as them saying, "Oh well, if we build the council houses, you might elect the Conservatives and they'll sell them off." And I'm like, then get rid of right to buy. Super simple. And people pointing out in chat, like, they spent the election campaign and the years in opposition telling us exactly what they'd be like. And clueless fucking Starmer sycophants were just like, no, she'll be so left-wing in government. You'll see, you'll change immediately. And what we've had is just like nothing but the continuity conservative rhetoric, to the point where George Osborne called Rachel his mini-me.
Yeah, because she is. Oh, actually, on a very positive note, albeit a very tiny positive note, from my own personal perspective and that of Curtis, we had a thing go viral on TikTok. I didn't even realise he'd posted any of the stuff on TikTok.
Oh, sick.
We had a bit 160,000 views. It was at last time we
Oh,
looked,
fuck.
which is mental, right? And the clip starts with me going, Rachel Reeves is doing a George Osborne tribute act. Which is quite nice. Yeah, but that's a lot. I was like, what the fuck? He literally contacted me and said, can you look at this from your end and tell me if this is a glitch or something? Because he didn't even believe the number. I was like, that's fucking dumb. Should we watch it? Yeah, we can watch it. Fuck it. Why not?
It's got 300k now.
Holy shit. It's doing numbers. Let's go.
That's more than I have on any of my TikToks.
Really? God damn. Well, there you go.
Yeah, the most I got was 250k on Rishi Sunak trying to claim that we would pay for the wages of Royal Mail workers when the business is privatised,
Nice.
as if it was publicly owned.
Yeah, god damn. Where's the number on it? I forgot what the fucking number is again. Oh god damn it.
You have to go to the actual page,
Oh yeah. Sorry.
to Curtis's feed, and it'll show up in the bottom left-hand corner of the thing.
Yeah, look at that, 307k. God damn.
Damn, it's gone up It's gone up 2k since I loaded up TikTok 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, and that's amazing because look at the what it's doing right. So that one's got 307,000. The next one of me, 176. Then 249, 172. Why is this one taken off? I don't get it. Anyway,
the algorithm, essentially, the way the TikTok algorithm works is it shows it to your followers, the people who follow you, and then if a certain percentage of these people watch it and engage with have enough watch time, it'll then show it to a wider audience, and then if they engage, it'll show it to a wider audience, and then it and so on and so on and so on.
Yeah.
So loads of these things will have been people who've just been part of that initial group who haven't watched enough of it, haven't engaged enough, haven't had enough watch time of those TikToks, so it should immediately cut out of the algorithm. But if this particular TikTok just keeps hitting the level that it needs to move to the next group of people, it'll massively take off.
Yeah, I'll post the link to Curtis's TikTok if you wanted to go and check that out. 1 second. Yes.
This, to me, seems like it's going to divide people even further.
Yeah, well, this is just Rachel Reeves continuing her George Osborne tribute act, basically. So much for the much vaunted decade of renewal and change that we were promised only, 7 weeks ago now? Good Lord. Yes. The people who will benefit from this are obviously landlords and private developers. Once again, the Labour Party has seen correctly a problem in society and come up with totally the wrong solution to the problem. In fact, this isn't even a solution to the problem, as is so often the case. This is a poor attempt, a very, very poor attempt at trying to equalise the gap between social rented prices and the quote-unquote affordable private sector prices. And the emphasis on the word supposedly in that previous sentence is very deliberate, because they're not affordable, and we know they're not affordable. The problem is that in order for more private housing to be built, they'll often knock down, because they can't build on greenbelt sites and you've got land banking, they'll create a brown site by destroying pre-existing social housing, but promising to build a very small percentage of affordable housing. And local authorities get to set the rate for that, which is often set at the maximum, which is 80% of market rental price, which is twice the amount of social rented, which is 40%. And 40% is already a little bit too high, because we already know that 80% of market rate is ridiculously unaffordable for the vast majority of the poorest in society. So it's not affordable housing at all. What it is government cope. It's pretending that the problem isn't really there. So in order to try and equalise that problem, rather than punishing the people who would force this situation, those at the very top, they're going to force that cost onto the very poorest in society, further ruining it. Adding to the gentrification of areas without even having to knock down the houses, because people won't be able to afford them, and then the local authorities will sell them off, and all the rest of it. When George Osborne described Rachel Reeves as mini-me only a few weeks ago, he wasn't wrong, was he? She literally is forcing the very same continuity austerity on us, forcing the poorest in society to pay the financial burden of problems caused by the richest in society. It's Cameronism 2.0.
This, to me, seems like it's
banger.
Gonna
That is a
divide
bad.
people
It's not a bad
even
clip,
further.
is it? To be fair,
That's a really good clip as well. What's especially stupid about the whole plan as well is that ostensibly this is for extra money to be able to build these affordable houses, as you say. Like, if you're going to have state money, which is what social rents become state money, if that's going to go into the financing of new housing, why is it coming from council budgets that are already stretched, having to pay for the excesses for health and social, for adult social care, or for temporary accommodation, which is where a lot of their money gets spent on, because this is things that they're obliged to do so under the local authority contract. When new housing could be an asset, new council housing could be an asset that they could have as a revenue generator to fix these budgetary problems.
Yeah.
But if it's an asset, if it's capital investment, it can just fucking come from like new money. It can be fiscal expansion from the state. It can be state money. But day-to-day spending shouldn't be spent on capital expenditure. It should be spent on other day-to-day spending. It's ridiculous. It's just none of it makes any fucking sense. Oh, it's so bad.
It's so stupid. I genuinely hope that Labour MPs, when they come back, and obviously there's going to be debates on the new budget in the autumn and all the rest of it, that they force her to backtrack on this, because it's so bad optically, it's so bad politically, it's so bad economically. They do have a massive majority, so like if she forces the issue, it's going to get through. They're not going to vote down the first fucking budget in the government. But I hope they, behind the scenes, put the pressure on and force this to change, because this is an absolute outrage. It really is. But, I mean, maybe that's hoping for them to grow a backbone, which they haven't shown any inclination to want to do, let alone capability to do. I don't know. Anyway.
Congratulations on your newfound TikTok fame. Although,
Yeah.
sad to see that Curtis hasn't tagged you.
It is a bit, yeah, it hasn't translated to any growth in my end. But you know what? That's fine. At least he got out there. If Curtis gets bigger, that's cool. That's fine. But it would have been
Go
good.
follow at KF Logan 1875
True.
from the clip. There we go. I'm going to put you in the comments there.
Thank you. Yes, so what I'm going to now move on to do, and you don't have to stick around because I know you were tired and all the rest of it.
I'm fucking shattered.
Yeah, you nip off then, because this is just like fast food nonsense now. I'm going to look at Hassan Arbi being kicked out of the DNC, which was funny or bad or terrible. I don't know. I haven't watched it yet.
Well, I'll send my viewers over to you to be able to enjoy the Hassan content.
Please do.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for bringing me on to speak with Mike. I was really looking forward to it. So I'm glad that I managed to peel my eyes open to be able to do that.
Well, thank you for doing so. I appreciate that.
No worries. Yeah.
Okay.
Again.
Yes. So I'll say goodbye to you, and we'll do something at some point in the near future.
Definitely. Well, next week, question time is back, right?
Is it? Okay. Awesome. Okay. Next Thursday then. Yeah.
Isn't it? Wasn't it? Oh no, it's the week after. It's in September that it comes back, I think.
I have no idea.
But we'll do some stuff in the week as well, depending on what's going on. But fingers crossed we'll be able to get back into our regularly scheduled Sunday for Laura Kay and Thursday for question time joint streams, because we see that seems to be a fan favorite moment on the channel. So.
Banger. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yes. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and stay awesome.
Likewise, you do stay awesome as well. And as always, take care and stay safe. Yeah. And as always, free Palestine.
Free Palestine indeed.
Let me get this raid set up.
Okay.
I'm gonna go fucking collapse.
Oh shit. Okay, I got rid of that. Apologies. It'd be funny if she went, oh fucking then, and didn't raid in. God damn. Okay. I didn't know she was going to carry on talking.
Get the fuck, like I'm not playing with all these mutants.
Hello everyone. Apologies there, No Justice. I didn't realise you were going to carry on talking. I thought when you said Free Palestine you were gone. So I just cut you off. Just close the fucking thing down. God damn. Hello there everybody. How are we all? If you're new to the channel, you should hit the follow button. And stick around and watch. I mean, this is literally just like empty calories content at this point, because I didn't have anything else planned. I was sort of thinking maybe not to even do a stream at all today, but then Mike got back to me and was like, oh yeah, I can do Saturday. So yeah, here we go. So the DNC happened, the Democratic National Convention, which we covered and was generally viewed. Oh yeah, by the way, everyone go and follow No Justice MTG. Of course. Yeah, we covered it on the channel. It went obviously very well for Kamabla. Kamabla it seems to have polled very well. It went smoothly. There were no massive hiccups or anything. People were very positive about it. From our leftoid perspective, and obviously being internet brained as fuck, Hassan Arbi got into, from our perspective, Hassan Arbi got into his, I don't know how to describe it, into one of these fancy booths that you see overlooking the whole thing, and then got kicked out. So, like, I don't even know why they did that shit. Oh, hello, YouTube people as well. I forgot that she was going to raid into YouTube as well. Hello, YouTube people. You should hit the subscribe button and like the stream. It's free. You can't give me money on YouTube yet, but you can do those things. Fancy booth. No, it's fancy as in it costs like 500 grand. Someone was saying that CNN and MSNBC had to pay like 500 grand for the equivalent space. Did you just give a shout out to Kamabla? I didn't even know she had a does she have a Twitch channel? What the fuck? She does. And she has barely more followers than I do. Which is fucking bad. I've got 5,000, she's got 7,000. God damn. Well, there you go. She does have a Twitch account. There you go. If someone wanted to gift a subscription to the future president of the United States of America, I would not say you're that's a bad thing necessarily. Bernie has a Twitch channel. Bernie does have a Twitch channel, and someone had previously gifted a subscription to that channel, and that was fucking amazing. I love that. I was like, Bernie subscribes to my Twitch channel. Ha ha ha! Dickheads. Anyway. So, yes, fancy booth, which is essentially a box that people usually watch ice hockey and basketball from, but is on this occasion being used to watch politics. And he got it for free, and then this happened.
He looks terrified. It's fine. It's just like we're getting booted. We're getting booted from this space. We're fine. We're fine for now. In this, we're not fine for now. We're like.
What does Bernie stream? Mainly, I don't know. What's a video game that the young people like? Bayonetta. He does Bayonetta playthroughs, speed runs. I don't fucking know.
Literally, like we're permanently done here, bro. That's so whack. Fight back? What do you mean? I will get evicted forcibly at gunpoint.
Yeah, exactly. Fight back. Yeah, and then the Secret Service come in and fucking cap you.
There's no fighting back. If they say, when someone says you gotta leave this area and like move to a different area, do you know how many Secret Service and like federal agents are here? Like, there's no world where I just keep doing this. Are they giving you another place to go? I don't know. And what are we gonna do about our stuff? Why even let you in just to kick you around? Guys, come on. We're at the Democratic National Convention. There's a lot of things that are moving around, okay? There's a lot of moving parts at any given moment. They're not kicking me out.
Look, that is a fancy booth. The actual setup is just a table, but look, that's the fucking podium, just right by his shoulder. That's a fucking prime spot. Look at that shit. That's an amazing spot for free. Big news channels were paying a fortune for that kind of access.
The convention, they're saying that they have to use this space. They wouldn't do this to CNN? Yeah, no shit, they wouldn't do this to CNN, dog. I'm not CNN. What do you mean? The fact that I have CNN level access is already insane. Be for real, okay? I don't even know how I got this level of accommodation to begin with. Tell them your uncle Jank. Your uncle is Jank. Yeah, I'll tell them that. They gave him a worse space than me, so...
They literally did. Look at this. Look, when people ever go at being fan, that's the space that Cenk got. I think he's in the parking lot or something. What the fuck is that? He looks like an underground troll. Is he under a bridge? The fuck is this shit? Is this Graham Souness? Lovely reference. God damn.
I don't know how that would work. Just kind of whack as you told him you'd want to do it all day. Yeah, I know. I literally said, if I can't do it all day, I won't come in. I will just stream from my hotel room. But it is what it is, okay? It's not their fault. It's out of our hands. It's out of everyone else's hands. Listen, they pushed out Joe Biden. Of course, they'll push me out too, you know? They're kicking us out.
Unlucky.
I don't know why.
Apparently there's a double booking. That might just be an excuse. I don't know.
So I guess
Like, yeah, it's not a fancy booth, it's just a table. But the position is fucking, like, A1. Perfect.
At the end of the day, while they do appreciate online influencers, the level of reverence and respect for online influencers is still not exactly up to par with, you know, traditional media.
Well, yeah, because it isn't. Yeah. Like... And he knows that. The thing is, I can understand him being salty, right? That makes perfect sense, because he's, look, this is a kind of shoddy way of treating somebody. But, like, he knows what the pecking order is. Like, there's no way he doesn't know that. I can understand him being angry, because, like, yeah. It's not just that, but just on a personal level, it must actually be quite embarrassing. Like, it must be quite embarrassing to be like, oh shit, they're treating me like a VIP person or whatever, and then them to come in and go, nah, get wrecked, bro. Like, it must be quite bad, actually. It must, like, he took this a lot better than I would have done. You know, just saying.
Because I doubt that, you know, NBC would be getting kicked out randomly. But now you can tell your colleagues, like, no, I saw the largest online commentator get chucked out with 60,000 people watching. You know, it happens to everybody is what I'm saying. All right, we're ready to go. Let's let it rip.
Oh yeah, this was definitely political, by the way. Like this, yeah, the rest of the booth wasn't kicked out. Like, the rest of the booth was fine, so they were essentially just kicking him out because he was, like, saying free Palestine and shit. Like, he was literally walking around with, like a... Was it like a waistband or something? Or like was it a full flag, the Palestinian flag? Like, walking around the convention centre? Shit. Like, there's a lot of Zionists in that room, man. Fuck.
Shave your mustache like Mike Pillow? Yeah. I want to shave my mustache like Michael Pillow and come back in.
Did you see the footage of that?
I did. It was incredible. He got owned by children. How embarrassing.
That 12-year-old kid?
Yeah, that was fuck. We watched that on stream yesterday. It was fucking funny. So your source is just trust me, bro.
That was awesome. I mean, they didn't even take our credentials away. We still have access to this floor.
Nice.
I feel like the worst part about this is like I feel like a kid that's been naughty. You know what I mean? But you also don't know what, like, I also don't know what I've done. And it almost feels like, I mean, it could be any number of different things, you know what I mean? And it's the uncertainty of it all that makes me feel worse about the situation. But I also still feel pretty good because I never would have imagined getting this level of access to begin with.
Someone approaches asking for Hassan's press floor credentials. Oh no. So he was literally saying, oh, we've still got our fucking credentials and shit, that's cool. And then they're like, nah, yoink. Oh god, that's so embarrassing. Oh no. Oh. When I laugh, I'm not doing it because I don't. I do like Hassan, okay. So I'm not doing it. It's just like I don't know. It's secondhand embarrassment or something. I don't know. It is just sort of funny. It is sort of quite humorous. So like, I don't know. It is fun. I don't care. It's funny. I think this is funny. It's almost certainly very not funny for Hassan, but, you know, fuck it. Jeez, the Zionist subplots. Oh, yeah, Zionists are fucking scum. We've been through this. No
worries.
Again, he takes that with a lot more aplomb. I would not say no worries. I would say go fuck yourself and be instantly escorted from the premises. Very possibly at gunpoint. Yeah.
Someone is definitely watching the stream.
100%.
I openly...
100%.
I literally said, oh, they didn't even take our credentials away.
And then just showed up.
Someone is watching the stream.
But on this theory that we're going to give you the whole thing and then cut it down, you think it's because you said something today they didn't like?
I did compare DNC to Israel. That might have been.
Oh, sorry, his influencer credentials, not his press credentials. Yeah, that's fair enough. Look at that! They've literally got Chicago Bulls stuff up still. In the background there, that's the logo. The Bulls is a basketball team in Chicago. Just yeah, it doesn't matter.
The final blow, because we got the call like shortly after I tweeted that, because so the Uncommitted campaign wanted to have a Palestinian American speak.
Yeah,
which I think is like a pretty reasonable demand.
Yeah,
like these aren't
like they had a fucking one of the. I don't know if they were necessarily part of their family, but they were speaking on behalf of the family. A Zionist, or no, I don't even know if they're Zionists, but like what do you call it? One of the family members of one of the hostages speak, which again is fine. I've got no problem with that necessarily, and I understand why they're sort of pandering to that shit. But to not have a single Palestinian person get up there and say anything, like I could understand them like vetting the speech very strongly, but to not have anyone, that's pretty gross actually. That's pretty bad.
These aren't like random activists. These are like Democratic Party operatives, right? Like they just happen to be Palestinian American, right?
Right.
And Mehdi Hassan said, and Rashida Tlaib as well, confirmed it, that the DNC was like sending out information to the press that like, oh, actually we wanted the Georgian, the Palestinian American from Georgia, Rua, I think her name is.
Yeah.
That she was one of the speakers that they gave to the DNC with like a vetted speech, and then the DNC was apparently, or someone was leaking to the media that like it was the Uncommitted movement that didn't want her to speak specifically, which doesn't make any sense because they literally kept presenting her very openly as the person.
Yeah, that's fucking mad. Well, like, why wouldn't they let the person speak? Rua Roman. I don't actually know that person. I have no idea. Did you see Pelosi get heckled while talking to Colbert? No, I didn't. I'd be more than happy if you got a link for that.
What? She's out there with Abbas. Yeah. Right? So Mehdi Hassan tweeted about it and was like, this is bullshit. We know that the Uncommitted movement is the ones who actually put forward Rua.
Have you seen Charlie Kirk getting owned by a teen at the DNC, also Free Palestine?
No, I have not. By all means, please link me your shite. Yeah, I'd be more than happy to watch that. But also, thank you for bits. Bits are always good. Thank you, Elliot Serco. Much love. They wanted to be rejected so they could make a big stink. Well, look, if it's a democratic person and they had a vetted speech, why not just let them speak? Why reject them in the first place? Oh, you've actually got a link in the thing. Okay.
Because we have a Republican governor and a Republican Secretary of State.
Oh, no, actually,
What's your name?
I did see this. I lied. I lied to you, chat. I apologise. Yeah, Charlie Kirk getting absolutely fucked up.
Because we have a Republican governor and a Republican Secretary of State in the state of Georgia.
What's your name? You said Parker?
My name's Parker. We have a Republican governor and a
Hello,
Republican
Parker.
Secretary of State in Georgia that approved our elections, and Donald Trump said that wasn't constitutional.
Relax.
Donald Trump tried to undermine our
You're
Constitution.
at 10. I just walked in. I'm here to just learn.
No, fuck you, Charlie Kirk. No. You, Charlie Kirk, don't get to walk around enemy territory and be like, can we chill? Can we just chill, please? You're at a 10. Can we just take it down a notch, please? No, fuck you, you small-faced little cunt. Fuck off. You should be absolutely pilloried every second you are there. Fuck you.
Hey, you're an anti-patriotic, anti-constitutional person crashing our party
So let me
because
ask you
you
one
tried
question.
to
I got
stop
one
our
question.
democracy.
I got one question.
Donald Trump called the
Can I ask you
Secretary
one
of State of
question?
Georgia and told him to find us votes.
What is a woman?
What is a woman? That's what they're gonna go with. That's the best he can do.
Oh my God, that is so f***ing weird, y'all. Maybe you should meet one.
Oh no! An execution took place there. Maybe you should.
No way I can make it down that ramp.
What is this?
I said, there's no way. There's
Why is fucking autoplay still on? Fuck off.
I can make it down that ramp without falling on my ass. There's no way. There's no way. General, somebody grab you so fast. I don't want that. And this was a steel ramp. Really, really steamy. No hand, girl. It was like an ice skating rink. I said, there's no way. There's no way. I can make it down that ramp without falling on my ass. Inch by inch. I took these little steps. When I was 10 feet short, I ran down the ramp. I ran down the ramp. I looked very handsome. I ran down the ramp. Trending #1. And the ramp was probably 10 yards long.
This question is on COVID.
I think you're going to have a big surprise, a beautiful surprise, sooner than anybody would think. But the answer is...
Now with sound.
I live like a capitalist every single day, Shank.
I live like a capitalist every single day, Shank.
I live like a capitalist every single day, Shank.
Aren't you glad you stuck around, No Justice viewers? Why does anyone watch this shite? Oh, that is very silly. You're quite correct.
I was like, this is like Israel Hofbra. Like, I don't understand what the DNC is doing. Like, trying to claim that it's not. Oh shit. AOC stuck behind a motorcade. Yeah. It's just, that sucks.
So what are you gonna do?
I don't know. I mean, I can get AOC anytime. It doesn't really matter. Like, it would have been cool to do it here, but maybe we just don't do it. Maybe I just cancel it. I don't know. Even Omar's team hasn't got back to my manager, and we don't have a space. So I'm telling everybody, I'm canceling all the interviews. You know what I mean, though? Chat and March. Like
that we use the most out of the opportunity.
This is a gimme. Like, this was not supposed to happen at all.
Oh
This
yeah,
is
for sure.
Not even in my wildest imagination would I have thought that we would have access to get into the DNC and like have.
Yeah, to have that spot at all was fucking dope. But obviously a little embarrassing to get kicked out. But yeah.
I've never in my wildest imagination would I have ever thought that like we would get 4 days of just like being inside of the DNC, getting full-blown access and taking advantage of it all the way. Obviously, like, I'm not a TikToker, I'm not like a YouTuber, which requires a much different kind of lift, right? And it's pretty crazy. I'm surprised it took this long. I don't know. I mean, I think Daniela literally came over to be like, no, we're not kicking you out.
Yeah.
I think it was like, they did it in front of the New York Times. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's embarrassing.
Do they
yeah.
think that was not going to like be a part of a story potentially? Like, even congresspersons are having a hard time getting on the floor right now. No, I know. I'm literally talking to Ilhan Omar's team and they're like, we can't leave. Other congresspersons are not like able to leave.
Ladies and gentlemen,
they're not.
Yeah, kind of.
Victory is ours.
Hello there, Emily Bakes. Much love. Welcome to the Kevolution. Same to MBT2K. That is. Is that a cat or a child screaming in the distance? I think it's a child. I think it's a human child. Anyway, but that's my neighbours. They're in their back garden screaming or something. I don't fucking know. Yeah, it's sort of annoying from Hassan's point of view, and indeed from everyone's point of view, I think, because he had interviews lined up with like fucking Ilhan Omar and AOC and like various bigwigs, and that would have been fucking dope if he'd have gotten that. But like it would have been nice to see him talk to AOC like more officially rather than just playing fucking. No, they didn't play Fortnite, did they? They played Oh, what the fuck's the game they played called? The sus game. I've totally forgotten what the fuck that game's called for some reason. God, that's annoying.
Not able to exit the areas that
how much
they're
of a
in.
shit show it is there? I definitely feel a sense of relief leaving.
Yeah. I think we lucked out.
Probably. Dude, if we had stayed to the...
Among Us. Yes, Among Us. Sorry, my bad. Welcome in whoever the fuck that was on YouTube. For some reason that doesn't show up. When someone subscribes on YouTube, it doesn't go into my activity feed thing. So whoever you were, thank you for subscribing on YouTube. Much love to you. Oh, as we've mentioned Among Us, we can't not play a little bit of Farage. Farage cameo.
Now, Wagwan fam, you're going to Somerset. There'll be a few surprises, and I hope you have a great time. You are a passionate flat earther, that's what the boys say. Listen in. BUSD, based Sigma Chad. Hope you're happy since you paired off with CHT. It's hot in Europe at the moment. Even the pool's burnt. You're a big chungus, and a certified UKIPper 7 days a week, a Brexiteer, and you love Dagestani cuisine. Well, hello, Mark. It's Nigel Farage here. Got a message for you from Brandon and from me too. Brandon says, "Happy birthday, you giant mistake." Now, there's no need to hide it. We all know you got...
Happy birthday, you giant mistake. This is the Honourable Nigel Farage. Bussy be so talented, it'd be doing cartwheels.
Caught sucking your fingers on the bus. They say you're aroused by e-scooters at the age of 34, which is disturbing. Wagwan Liam, happy birthday, boy, you Brexiteer, you William. You love fish and nuts, rum boy. Respect. Now, this may be me, Nigel Farage, but actually the message comes from Will. Congratulations on becoming a doctor of thugonomics.
Doctor of thugonomics. Oh. He votes on laws that I have to live by. Or at least he will if he ever does anything as an MP. Ever. Literally fucking ever. Thugonomics. Fuck yes.
At the very end, imagine trying to get out of there.
Oh.
Oh my god. At first I was like, this sucks. Because I had mapped the whole thing. But now that we were able to do a swift exit, it's 8 p.m. By the time by the time we get there, we're gonna be able to easily put that together. Desktop. Boom, boom, boom. Desktop stream.
Let me hear you. Hang on. We're doing that again.
Put that together. Desktop. Boom, boom, boom.
Let me hear you say way-oh, way-oh.
Stop stream. I keep going. And this way, I have an early flight out too.
So unclip it. Clip it and ship it.
I get to,
I didn't get kicked out of the convention. I just got kicked out of the studio space that they had given me, and they did it in a very weird way too. They did it literally during an interview that I was conducting with the New York Times about creators for Kamala, which makes it extra crazy because it literally that is a story in and of itself. I don't know if the guy will actually write about it or not, but ultimately.
Thank you, Mark Gilgee, for subscribing. Much love. Unironically, Musk was correct there. Yeah. True.
It was a very weird thing to do overall because they had told me originally that they told me that I was fine. They told me that I was fine, that I had this space, that they had allotted for me, that it was gonna start late, but then it turns out it was not fine. Unceremoniously, out of nowhere, some super donor probably had you kicked out, so they had a box with their kid to watch Taylor Swift. I don't know how the box situation works, but I know Beyonce is gonna perform. Obviously, that was known for a while. They guaranteed you...
That didn't happen, though, in the end, did it? Wasn't the special guest supposed to be Beyonce, and then it just didn't happen? Like they trailed this like it was definitely going to happen, and then it just didn't.
The space for the whole day and then kicked you out in a way that completely f***ed your schedule. Yeah, but like also the other side of the story is that, like, honestly, the other side of the story ultimately is that, like, I was never supposed to be at the DNC. You know what I mean? So I'll take it. I'll take all the moments that they gave me and all of the I will.
TMZ is embarrassing, especially because it should be pronounced TMZ, but you know.
Take every aspect that I'll take all of the access that I got. News already reported on creators being kicked out of their spot. Okay, that's so cute, chat. That's funny. You guys are
That's literally fucking Sky News fake Chiron. DNC leadership endorses gaming frogs union instead.
funny. You did great the whole time. All the booths were empty because Jamie Harrison is a piece of shit and planned awful. The arena got overfilled and shut down by the fire marshal to the point reporters can't get in. So they panicked and kicked out booths / influencers for space. It's why.
Boom, boom, boom.
Let me say wayo, wayo.
Stop stream.
I've got to make that into a sound thing. Oh, love it. Love it. I would love it. That is me being sus. That is true. That is sus as fuck right there. I saw that beardy cunt fucking venting electrical. Prick. That song was graphic as fuck, yeah. That song gives pretty graphic detail of, like, cunnilingus, basically. Yeah.
Why the PAL delegates can't get in too. I've never experienced this as a journalist in my life. The DNC has told security at the United Center that journalists cannot be guaranteed re-entrance into the arena if they get to use the restrooms. Yeah, so that does make sense. That does make sense. That's literally the reason why I left, because Ilhan Omar could not exit the arena. So that made it so that I was like, oh, there's no way I'm going to be able to talk to them. Do you understand? Like that it is like, I'm sure that is part of the reason why I got cooked. It's still wag as but that's why I left. The reason why I left is because I knew that it was chaotic.
I have seen that, yes. I've also seen him bigging up the IRA. Nigel Farage, this is. Yeah. Check the turn left TikTok numbers. Is it gone mental again? Or not? I don't know. Oh, hang on. No. Ah, fuck. Why can't I type? Why am I so shit at typing? Like, for real.
This, to me, seems like...
Shut up, Logan, you fucking bell piece. 322.6 thousand. That's mad. That's mad shit. Turn left followed me back. That's nice. Fuck yes. Okay. Maybe I should post on TikTok. I don't know. Up the oh my god, she has an up the raw. She literally has a Nigel Farage up the raw fucking meme. Oh, that's dope.
And I didn't want to be there for that chaos, and that I knew that I was not going to be able to get to see or talk to anyone. Journalists are actually being turned away now. Chill. Press area way over capacity. Just saw Ta-Nehisi Coates get turned away.
Ta-Nehisi Coates got turned away. Oh no. Oh no.
Yo, it's like, it's real casual like that. Everyone who's like pro-Palestine just accidentally happens to be getting clapped at the DNC. I'm not even kidding. I know it's like, it's not deliberate. It's not by design. I know that they're not doing it on purpose. But it is funny that like anyone who has criticized the DNC on the Palestine front is just like, hey, by the way, sorry, you just can't be in this location. How is that? I don't even think it's on purpose. I don't think it's on purpose. I think it actually...
I think it kind of is on purpose a little bit. A little bit.
Is like overbooked this. Kellyanne Conway got let through a staff door. Well, I guess we don't have that kind of riz, dude. We are not as valuable to the to the Democratic Party as Kellyanne Conway. Jesus Christ, dude. I'm Lisan Al-Gaib, baby. Call me Lisan Al-Gaib the way I have the foresight, the way I have the vision.
It's an interesting
Bro,
kind of...
tell me how this wasn't the best move of all time. Okay, we were gonna be sitting around, thumb up our waiting for an interview that was never going to be able to happen. We were literally going to be in there. Instead, I'm in my sweet hotel room. I get to go to sleep early. I get to react. And I will say this, I wasn't like moderating my position.
Good
when
night,
I was
Edward.
in there. I wasn't like,
good night, Edward, in YouTube chat. Much love.
Saying anything that I normally wouldn't say, but I will say this. Okay, bro is coping. Is bro coping? No, I cannot pay attention.
He's groping. He's groping hard right now.
In that room, it was like virtually impossible. It was virtually impossible to pay attention. I think my commentary wasn't as good. You were yourself the whole way and got free interviews out of it. Yeah, I never compromised on my values. I never compromised on my views. But honestly, it was that was not easy. Like it was. I mean, obviously, I was down to even fuck around to a degree where like I straight up played the Kamala Harris wants to vaccinate your children in the song in front of the DNC handlers that I had. They were like standing in the corner. I mean, they were.
She wants to vaccinate your children in the ass.
Handlers, but they were very nice, to be fair. But I do think it's true, but it does kind of display how out of touch the DNC are with your world and influence. Would they have done that with any mainstream media, possibly with far less reach? No, they would not. But remember, the mainstream media pays for those slots. Like they have to pay for it. So it's a little. I mean, it like that's what the New York Times guy was saying. I would never pay for that. They were kicking everyone out of those booths. You weren't in a permanent press spot. Yeah, I'm sure they just like cleared everybody out. It just sucks, especially because there was literally another space that I could go to, but they were just like, no, you can't go there. Look, it worked out. Why did they take your credentials? They didn't. I have them still here. They didn't take my DNC credentials. They took my credentials to the floor, to that floor specifically. Right after I said, oh, well, they kept us. They didn't take our credentials away.
Fair enough. So, fuck, why is autoplay on? Turn it off, for fuck's sake. That's twice I've had to press autoplay off now, YouTube. Stop fucking around. Right. And then last one now, and then I'll leave you for the evening. The real reason I got kicked out of the DNC by Hassan Piker.
Are you sure you weren't just kicked out?
That's very quiet.
Give that prime spot to a big name? No, because that prime spot was.
Fuck's sake.
Are you sure you weren't just kicked out to give that prime spot to a big name? No, because that prime spot was. I'm almost certain that prime spot was literally owned by a dude, like owned by a donor who was there, who was a fan. So it was not
really?
Like no one else was.
Wow.
You didn't find it suspicious that no one else left that area? Just me? All the other people that were in that room were in that room still?
Yeah, I think he was just coping. I honestly think he was just coping when he said it wasn't on purpose. Because it obviously was on purpose, right? Like, completely and utterly on purpose. Is this Mark Lawrenson? Jesus Christ. As Friends Ross coming in with a second 1980s Liverpool reference. It also isn't Ian St. John or Kevin Keegan. Okay? It's not Bruce Grobbelaar. None of them.
Yeah, they didn't make anyone else evacuate that area. Just me. Come on, chat. Like, there are some things I can say and some things I can't openly communicate to you, okay? Overall, I'll say it like this, okay? The DNC and the Kamala campaign knew what my background was, knew what I would talk about. They knew that I was not going to, engage in any sort of editorial control in terms of like censoring myself. If I see something, I'm gonna say something, right? Obviously, we started off the week strong. The first day, they just like were completely oblivious to what I do, kind of like in terms of what was necessary, like what kind of needs I had to be able to like conduct these live.
He does look a little bit like Bruce Grobbelaar, yeah, with the moustache. He does a bit. Bad example. Bad example. The famously the goalkeeper from Rhodesia. No, Zimbabwe, honest.
Streams, right? So they were like, okay, well, I knew that wasn't going to work the first day. So I just like started off in the hotel. Then I went to the Palestinian protests. Then we went into the DNC. We did walk and talk. We roamed around in the DNC first day. It was fun, right? Great stuff. Second day, they were like, no, we have access for you. We got a room for you. And I was like, listen, it's not just a room. I need a desk and I need an Ethernet cable. That's it, right? Second day, we started off with a Donny interview. Donny actually drove us in. CNN drove us into the DNC. It was sick. You know, we set the shit up. We started, we let it rip. You already know what happened when we let it rip that day. The Obama spoke. Third day, Wednesday, third day of the DNC, I had to leave early. And literally as I was leaving early, they had an even nicer area for me. As you guys know, there was an even nicer area that they had set up right behind the stage. It was crazy.
That is
same
dope.
area, same space that I have like for CNN. Now, the entire time I'm telling them
that is such a good space. Can't believe people were weird champing me about calling it a fancy space. It is. Look at it. That's prime.
the way,
I bet that box costs a fortune to watch the Chicago Bulls play.
Like, it's okay if I don't have space. I'll just, stream from the hotel. If I have interviews or whatever, I'll come over to the DNC. I'll conduct my interviews and I'll fuck off. I'll go back to my hotel, right? If I want to do my desktop stream. So they were like, no. It's better if you're here. It's better if you're inside of the DNC, which makes...
That is a fun fact that I was already aware of, but also, what is that related to? Eric Cantona did not play for Liverpool during the 1980s or any other decade. Also, Popper.
Sense like I'm there as an influencer, right? So they wanted me to be there. So I was like, fine, I'll take it. As long as they have space for me, I'll take it, right? So we did it the second day. Ironically, of course, sadly, or third day, when I was leaving the DNC to go do the Chapo Truanon podcast, it was hilarious because that was the day when Ilhan Omar's team, Sean Fain's team, and AOC's team, all three of them sent me communications being like, oh, we're here now. We can do the interviews now. And that day I wasn't kicked out. So like I could have technically, if I didn't do the Chapo Truanon podcast, I could have done all of my interviews that day. I could have gotten those out of the way, right? But it is...
Like, what the fuck? Why didn't you... What? Surely they'd have understood, right? Surely they would have understood. Because, firstly, fuck Chapo. And secondly, they'd have understood. Like, if major people want to talk to you, surely you'd give them a ring and just say, look, we can do it another day. I can do tomorrow. I can do the day after that. But today, all these fucking big shots are like, oh, come and talk to me, Hassan. Why didn't you do... the fuck? Trump adds Kennedy and hopes he will draw all the snow. Is that a real... That can't be a real Babylon Bee headline. That cannot be a real Babylon Bee headline, because that's actually quite funny. That's actually a good joke. Trump adds a Kennedy in hopes he will draw all the sniper fire. Is a genuinely quite... That can't be real. Read the article at Babylon Bee. Is that a fuck... Did they do a joke that wasn't the joke? Yeah, for reference point, that's John Aldridge, who does look vaguely like Hassan there, I guess. They did something other than the one joke. It actually is. Oh my god. Oh, I just had to fucking consent to them using cookies on me. Oh, that's gross. But yeah, look, the Babylon Bee actually wrote a funny headline for once. Amazing. That's fucking incredible. Well done to them on the first joke they've ever told, and probably the last.
That's what it is. I'm not upset about it. I love those boys. I'm always gonna roll with them. So I did the pod, live audience. It was great.
Yeah, there were a lot of mustachioed players in that team. Yeah. It was the 80s. It was very much the rage.
One of you guys actually gave me fat stack of sixers on the...
Good night, 8DX man. Much love. What are sixers? A fat stack of sixers. What the fuck what are they? I cannot see what that is, but whatever it is, that's okay, cool.
In, so shouts out to that Hassan Avi head at the Chapo podcast. So that was one thing, and then the last day they're like, no, you got the same space from 2:30 all the way to the end. And I'm like, are you guys sure? It's a big day. I understand if there's limitations, like I'll just do my thing and I'll go back to my hotel room. And they're like, no, you have the space, you have the balcony. It's uninterrupted the entire day, unlike the day before when the Warren staffer came in and was like, you need to get the fuck out. It was like,
it's the nicotine stuff. Oh, okay, I'm with you. Did Hassan smoke then? Is that a thing he needs, or is it just like a meme? Awkward moment as undercover James O'Keefe starts hitting on undercover Matt Walsh. Okay, that's sort of funny. Okay, there's a couple of bangers there, I guess. Because that's sort of a joke about conservatives, isn't it? And it's not even necessarily like having a go at the people. It's saying that's how they think they would act. Or that's how they think liberals act, or whatever, I guess. Yeah, that's kind of funny too. Look, don't get me wrong, I've set the bar so low for the Babylon Bee that literally anything that just structurally works as a joke is an improvement for them. Yeah, years ago, but he's addicted to the gum now. Oh, for fuck's sake. What was the point then? Actually, there's loads of stuff in cigarettes that are bad, except just the nicotine as well. Like, yeah. Even if you get addicted to fucking chewing the gum or whatever, that's still way better than smoking.
Chirping at me. They were like, no, this time you have it fully, right? I was like, okay, sure. That's great. We start off roaming. Okay, we start off roaming with March. We go to the uncommitted campaign, the uncommitted delegates.
Look at it. What an absolute slut he is. Look at that. That is filthy acting. Look at those fucking arms. Of course you'd wear a shirtless top there. Not shirtless, a sleeveless top. Look at him. That is filth.
Remember, these are Democratic Party operatives that are from all around the country. They represent hundreds of thousands of Democratic Party voters that participated in the primary that said, we are uncommitted because of the actions that the Democratic Party is engaging in terms of Israel, okay? In terms of like what they're doing with their unconditional support to Israel, right? Did you actually get kicked out, or is it thumbnail bait? No, I mean, I didn't get fully kicked out. So here's the thing, okay? There are different levels of credentials inside of the Democratic Party. That area that we were at is the lower level suites, right? That is that area that I was at when I was doing this interview with the New York Times was at the lower level suites. This is the same exact level that like CNN is on. It's the same exact level that like MSNBC is on. When you see like Jake Tapper and whatever like sitting in front of that podium, in front of that stage, like they are literally, they're on the same level. They gave me the balcony on the same exact level.
See, that's wild. Firstly, they gave it him for free. And like, okay, this is going to sound bad or whatever, but like, motherfucker, you got big by like calling Destiny a liar. You're a fucking liar, dude. You know, that clip going viral, or like the 9/11 America deserved 9/11 shit. Like, you got famous screaming shit in your living room or whatever. Like anyone who gets famous online, like it's wild that was a thing that ever happened. And I don't think you can get too salty about the fact that it was taken away, because like, if motherfuckers are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to have that space, you shouldn't really have been in that space to begin with. Does that make sense? Am I being harsh there? Am I being over the top though? I don't know, but it you know, look, I'm not. Look, I hate the fucking media. I'm not bigging up the media, but I understand the kind of level it's on and the game that's being played. Does that make sense? I don't know. Rohack, one word answers are not. What are you saying yes to? Come on now. Give me a little bit more, friend. Come on.
Which is insane access, okay? And at that point I was thinking, like, honestly, like, I mean, those are like, yeah, those are $500,000. Like, people pay $500,000 to get those suites. And the fact that I had the access to that level to like show you this background at all, I'm happy. Like, I was gonna take anything they were giving me, right?
And that's, yeah, to be fair, he's not being salty now, so that's cool. I think the immediate like harshness of the situation has maybe worn off, so okay, cool.
Everything that they were giving me, I was taking. Yeah, Chris Cuomo said those suites cost millions of dollars. Someone at the DNC probably said, why the fuck are we giving this guy this great suite who's on us the entire time? Yes. Yeah, I know. So they didn't obviously like say, fuck off, you're done. We're revoking your access completely. You need to leave the premises. They didn't do that because that would have been a much larger, I think, that would have been a little silly for them to do. but they basically made it so that like they made it as impossible to stream for me as possible by coming in and saying randomly out of nowhere, coming in and informing me that I had to leave immediately. Like they were like, you have to clear out immediately. That's what they said. And I was like, what the like you saw it. I think it's on my last like YouTube getting kicked out of the DNC YouTube. Like you probably that morning I interviewed the uncommitted delegates. Okay, these are Democratic Party operatives themselves, people that have fought against Republicans in their own states, people that have positions within the Democratic Party. These aren't like anarchists.
If you grant access to the broad media presence, taking it away just because some guy owned that particular space seems kind of weird. Oh no, it is weird, absolutely, but like, it's weird that it was ever granted in the first place, if that makes sense. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't matter, it's not a big deal or anything, but it's just kind of interesting.
These aren't like the protesters outside. These are people who work within the confines of the Democratic Party. These are Democratic Party delegates. That's why there wasn't so many people outside in the protest, because they're not letting everybody in. They're obviously not letting anyone in, as a matter of fact, okay? They had a Palestinian American. They had multiple Palestinian Americans that had speeches that were pre-vetted and pre-scripted, as always, that would endorse Kamala Harris at the end of that speech, as a matter of fact. You know, those were the conditions, right? And they had put forward these speakers, and the Democratic Party was not playing ball with them at all, which was kind of f***ed up. Not even kind of f***ed up. It's really f***ed up, because this is a very reasonable demand. It's a reasonable demand. It's a moral demand. It's a just demand. It's electorally positive for the Democrats.
I think so, yeah.
Democrats to like show that they're a big tent that also features, you know, Palestinian voices as well. These are American voters, right? These are American Palestinian voters and their friends. These are Arab voters and Muslim voters in key states. So obviously, I find it ridiculous that they would not, you know, they just wouldn't do anything about that, right? Like they wouldn't let that happen. The UAW was pressuring, donors were pressuring the Democratic Party. A lot of pressure was happening for on the last day to have a Palestinian American speak. They had Border Patrol guys on. They had, you know, like anti-choice Republicans on. They had other Republicans on. They had a bunch of Republicans on. Like, it's crazy. They had an Israeli American family speak, whose son was being held hostage by Hamas as well, which is of course understandable. Like, those are families that are suffering. Their voices also must be heard. That makes sense. But to do that and to then turn around and not have any Palestinian Americans, it obviously shows that there's a double standard. And now you have like UAW and other unions also applying pressure as well. And I think they should apply more pressure, as a matter of fact, regardless of the fact that like Joe Biden was...
It is a bit Starmer. Yeah, it is definitely a bit Starmer. That's why I was saying earlier that he was like coping when he was saying it wasn't deliberate. Which again, in the immediate aftermath of the thing, I can understand him coping. Oh, pardon me, I am very tired. I can understand him coping, but it was bro-cope. It was brope. Yeah.
Very pro-labor union and, you know, walk the picket line. Like, it's great that he did that, but I think that there's no other way. There's no other way to get the Democratic Party to meet these demands. Pressure from all vectors need to happen in order to get the Democratic to move on this issue, to get the Kamala Harris campaign to move on this issue. So I said last night, the attitude from the Dems cannot be, or 2 nights ago, cannot be that these people are simply spoiling the fun. Their demands are moral, reasonable, and just. Forcing Israel to commit to a ceasefire through measures beyond tough talk will also be electorally beneficial to the Democratic Party. So it's a win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win, okay? It's a win-win-win. Everybody with eyes can understand it. Everybody with a fucking brain can see what's going on. Unless you're completely in a bubble. You look at the situation and you're like, why the fuck wouldn't these guys speak? What are you talking about? Do you think it was a space management issue, or was...
Do you think they're just scared of AIPAC or what? I don't know.
Was there a problem with you and your ideas? Because this sounds like a big and chaotic event. No, it was straight up about what I said and what I was doing there, okay? UAW posted this as well, which gave many others courage to also come out and speak. If we want the war in Gaza to end, we can't put our heads in the sand or ignore the voice of the Palestinian Americans in the Democratic Party. If we want peace, if we want a real democracy, if we want to win this election, the Democratic Party must allow a Palestinian American speaker to be heard from the DNC station tonight. This is like not, this is literally...
What was the security issue? What do you mean?
The lowest, like, the lowest hanging fruit, okay? Like, this is a gimme for the Democratic Party to even present themselves as though they are pro-Palestinian, as though they recognize the humanity of Palestinian Americans. Like, that's it. That's it. That's all they are doing. That's all they're fucking doing at this point. That's all they're asking for. Families of the Israeli hostages joined the demand that Palestinians should not be barred from the DNC stage. Both groups demanding ceasefire and a deal to return the captives. Mehdi Hassan also then reported on other reporters being briefed.
Shout out to Mehdi Hassan, by the way. Based as fuck.
That the DNC accepted the Dem state rep Ruva for Georgia, who is a Palestinian American Georgia state representative, who had a speech that was ready to go. That they lied. The DNC lied and said basically, oh, it was actually the uncommitted movement that turned her down, which I think is ridiculous because obviously, what do you mean it's the uncommitted movement? They are the ones who put her forward. It's a lie being told, I assume, by DNC spinners now on the defensive. Uncommitted are the ones who pitched her, and there's still time for the DNC to put Ruva for Georgia on stage tonight for 2 minutes. If they have time and space for a former Republican congressman and for Israeli members of a hostage, they have time and space for an elected Palestinian Democratic lawmaker. Anything else is straight up racism and erasure. The DNC is strenuously denying that they put out any such false claims. So whichever Dem is saying this bullshit the report is about uncommitted isn't even speaking on behalf of the party, it seems. But the bigger question is, why didn't the DNC accept Ruva for Georgia as a speaker tonight? To which I, of course, quote tweeted, why does the DNC have one speed? This is identical to how Israel does Hasbara Lamal. And I think literally right after I posted this tweet, like maybe 30 minutes after, is when I got booted. Rashida Tlaib also said, I know for a fact that the DNC did not act in good faith and continue to lie about the negotiations. They are exposing themselves. So yeah, I ate the boot right after that tweet. But here's the thing, okay? I had a New York Times interview that was being conducted at the time when they were like, yeah, you got to clear the space, which I thought was pretty crazy. It was like 25 minutes after that tweet. But I still had a New York Times interview that was coming, Ken Benzinger, and you know, we still did the New York Times interview, and then they made me clear out my desk. Now I know, because obviously there's like a ton of people involved in these decisions and like, you know, playing roles in this. But now I know that like there was, I had heard that there was like already a little bit of a difference in opinion with the Kamala Harris campaign, who I believe wanted me there, versus the DNC, which did not think it was a great idea.
Really, that's interesting. Suggests that Kamala is trying to be a bit more progressive. That's something.
Okay, there was a little bit of friction, a little bit of tension, and then obviously, like after that, the boss call was the reason that I got exited in a polite manner. It was not like, you're out of here, get the fuck out of here, you're done. It was more so like, hey, you can't be in here anymore. There's a really important person coming in here and we have to clear out the space. Except we're not really clearing out the space. We're only getting you out of this space, right? And when I asked, like, is there another place that I can go to? I have these interviews lined up. I have the Ilhan Omar interview. I have the AOC interview. I have the Sean Fain interview. Like, I set all this stuff up with the full knowledge that you guys gave me, that like with the confidence that you gave me that I have this space where I can do these private interviews, like conduct these private interviews. They said, no, you don't have any other place that we can put you to. Do you think you'll be invited back to the next DNC? Probably. I think so. Would you do the DNC coverage from the inside again if you knew in advance the uncommitted movement would not be allowed to speak? Yes, I would. What do you mean? Of course I would. And next time the DNC happens in 2028, I will still go. I'll probably even have a better slot this time around as well. Also, they said AOC needed the space as their first excuse, not knowing you were the one interviewing her, which is crazy. Yeah, they lied about that. They were like, oh, AOC's coming into this space. I was like, no, she's not. I know she's not because I'm literally talking to her right now, and she's stuck behind a motorcade. Yeah, that was also crazy. And then lastly, they were like, oh yeah, we can put you in the meme room that doesn't have even like Wi-Fi, and also simultaneously, yeah, not only did it not have Wi-Fi, but there was no Ethernet either. And I know that they were like,
what the fuck was in there then? Was it literally just an empty room? What?
Watching because they obviously stream sniped me because they forgot that.
What? In a modern stadium like this, there shouldn't be any room that doesn't have access to Wi-Fi. Why is there a place in that stadium that doesn't have Wi-Fi? That's very strange. A bar. It has a bar. Yeah.
To take my badge for the lower level suites, and then I brought it up And I said, oh, they forgot to take my badge. Maybe they're not kicking us out. Maybe they're not kicking us out fully because we're, again, like my press credentials are still there. This is like a different level of access. And they literally right after I said, oh, well, they didn't take my, lower level press credential from me, which means like maybe it is a space issue, right? Like maybe it is actually a legitimate space issue and like we'll be able to recover from here on out. It turns out, no, it wasn't. So it wasn't just that tweet. Okay. That tweet was like the straw that broke the camel's back, but it was my advocacy for having
You can get Wi-Fi in the Emirates. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. In the Emirates Stadium, they have Wi-Fi like everywhere. You don't really need it on the pitch, I don't think, but other than that.
A Palestinian speak at the DNC consistently. It was me wearing a Palestinian flag around my waist, which they consider to be a big no-no.
Look, you don't need it on the pitch unless Kyle Walker needs to update his payments for his childcare. Alimony payments.
No, apparently, and also it was the fact that I talked to the uncommitted movement as well. If you knew you'd be kicked out, would you have been less contentious? No. Other people interviewed the uncommitted people as well. Yes, but the difference is they were press. They didn't have like the suite level access. Press doing it is different than a creator for Kamala doing it in front of 60,000 people and also in a suite that they gave him. They see that as like a big fuck you. At least the DNC sees that as like a big fuck you. Do you understand? Like there's obviously a difference between like where I'm doing it and how I'm doing it versus like how other people are doing it. Don't you feel like what they did was worse? They cut off your ability to do your coverage while pretending you were still welcome, honestly? No, I mean, look, my point is this, okay? My point is this. I was never going to like moderate my views or change my perspective because of the unimaginable amount of access I got. And I did get an unimaginable amount of access. It's true. I mean, think about it, dude. There are literally professional journalists and press people and media outlets out there that are spending a ton of money that had to spend
You did say Etihad. Why did I say Emirates? That's a completely different stadium. Run by a slightly different type of evil Middle Eastern regime. It's completely different.
Ton of money to get that level of access that I was able to get. That's huge. So everything I was able to do within the DNC, within the confines of the DNC for the past 4 days, even with the like last day fuck you, I don't care.
Maria, the in terms of the infrastructure, the stadiums we're referring to are in the UK. Both the Etihad and the Emirates Stadium are both in England. London and Manchester, to be specific. They're just called that because they're both run by petrostate scumbags. Which, for employment reasons, I don't expect As Friends Russ to necessarily comment on that particular element of my analysis.
I'm very happy about. I'm very happy about it because obviously I still was able to do all of this and I took all of it I never took it for granted. You know what I mean? I was able to do all of this and I considered it to be a bonus, right? Because I would be covering the DNC regardless, even if I was there and I was streaming from the hotel room or if I was here in Los Angeles streaming from my house.
Didn't he already say this shit?
I'd be doing that anyway. So the fact that I was able to do it inside and also get this like level of unprecedented level of access on top of that was an added benefit. Do you see what I'm saying? The way I look at it is like, I'm happy for everything that I got because I never thought that I would get any of this anyway, which is precisely the reason why I think a lot of people were like,
are those stadiums in the middle of Chicago-sized cities? I don't know, what's the population? London's pretty fucking big. Chicago population, I guess? 2.6. Oh no, London's way bigger than Chicago. Yeah. You know, what's London's population? London has a population of 9 so it's like fucking 4 times bigger than Chicago. Yeah.
Like, how the f did they let you in here? Like, why are they doing this? And I wanted to do it justice, okay? I wanted to do it.
How old is the stadium? I like pretty much brand new, like last 20 years. When I was at college, I used to get the train into London and it went past the... Technically, it went past where the old Highbury Stadium was in London. although they'd been knocked down at that point, and they were starting to build the flats, and the new stadium was already in place, and that was what 2006, 7. So yeah, the stadium's only about 20 years old.
Justice. I wanted to do the level of access that I got as much justice as possible. I wanted to show as many people as possible in my community that, you know, this is how it works. This is the background. Like, this is what a convention is, right? Like, I showed you every aspect of it, from the protests outside to the protests inside to the regular process. I interviewed politicians. I talked to them. Ultimately, I think I made the most of it, and I find it to be I found this to be a very fortunate situation. I was very lucky to be able to get all of this. I think they thought they could use you and live up.
So that's a much more reasonable take. Yeah, no, I'm cool with that.
Your audience by giving you so much accommodation. Like, look, we have progressives too. Even that guy that said Americans are 9/11. Yeah, they don't care about that part. I feel like you made a big connection.
Yeah, they obviously don't give a fuck about that part. Otherwise, they would never have invited him in the first place. But like, it doesn't matter. Like, no one gives a shit about that.
Not necessarily. I mean, all the people that I was talking.
Like, there are legitimate MAGA people who think that America deserved 9/11. They don't necessarily put it in quite that way, but they basically describe it like that.
To already.
Like, America's so bad it deserves to fall to fucking, I don't know, Islamists or whatever. Like, they're almost like the right wing's equivalent, I suppose, of accelerationists. I don't know.
I had access to already. I just like kind of used them because I was right there. Anyway, seeing it kicked out for what we all assumed was support for Palestine just killed my spirit. I thought that we would get a voice in the DNC, and we all got shut down. I'm back to not wanting to vote again. Look, I'm not gonna fault you for that. Okay. When I saw you were going to the DNC, I was hoping you wouldn't be simping for the Dems. So I'm super happy you haven't changed when you stand and speaking out against oppression. Yeah, of course. It is you know,
yeah, Old Trafford's a dump. They let that place fucking rot.
It is what it is. I'm overall.
We are reacting to a reaction streamer, but they're not really reacting right now. We're reacting to him talking about himself. Yeah. Oh, he was totally politically motivated. Yeah. It was because of the Palestine thing. Of course it was, yeah.
Very, very happy with everything. You said next time you let press credentials. Can you explain what difference it would make? I would have like a dog area, if lucky, if I even get an area at all.
You'd be with Cenk under the bridge. Just skulking around in the shadows.
All to be able to stream from the pit. Like, I'll probably be like near TYT in the press pit, because like all of those other major outlets, like, they pay for those rooms, and I'm not trying to drop $500,000 on the DNC, the National Convention, to be able to get like that level of access. Ooh.
Also, imagine if he did, the right wing would go crazy. Hassan, the socialist, is £500,000 is dollars. He's spending on top of his squillion pound dollars house. Fuck's sake, Kev. The squillion dollar house and the car that costs us squillion gazillion dollars. Fucking hell. Old Trafford is 114 years old. Well, the site has had a stadium on it for 114 years, but most of that stadium has been rebuilt in the last 50 years, basically. If you look at Old Trafford in the 80s, it was very, very different. So they built it, and then the Americans came in and didn't build or maintain the infrastructure. So now it literally leaks. Oh, I've got to show you the stadium roof leaking. That was funny. Old Trafford leak.
I'm just hearing the rain's got even heavier. Who knows if this game had kicked off at the normal time on a Sunday? Well, this might have even been postponed or halted. Like,
Judging by
looking
that,
at this,
that probably would have when you look at that.
And, and this is Manchester, by the way. So that pitch is well drained.
Look at that. That's not what a stadium should be doing. Yeah, stadiums shouldn't come with water features.
Right? It doesn't rain like this all the time, but it rains a lot in Manchester, and that pitch is really, really well drained. It's built to absorb all this water.
So on a Sunday, if we kicked off an hour later like we normally done, we might, who knows? We might not get that completed.
Yeah.
And they missed it just in the nick of time as well, didn't they?
Absolutely mental. That's fucking stupid. Anyway.
Overall, I think that it was a wild thing that they did.
How did we go into stadiums or stadia? Oh yeah, because they're in the Bulls stadium. It's not called that, is it? But yeah.
Especially when I was like being interviewed by the New York Times in front of 60,000 people. I don't know why they did it like that. I think it's not like that serious, that significant in the grand scheme.
Yeah, talking them being a shit team. Did you just say 95th minute against Brighton? Which is more leaky, their defence or their stadium's roof? I don't know.
Even things like, I don't know if that'll like be a bigger news story or anything like that. But regardless of that, regardless of their actions, I still am very happy. Still very happy with like what I was able to do, and that's it. I hope that it was entertaining, and I hope that not only was it entertaining but also informative, and I hope you guys got a better understanding of what was going on internally over there.
Anyway, just yeah. I honestly, I don't even have analysis for that. It's just, he seems all right with it now. He seems to have chilled and reflected on the situation. That's sort of actually the one piece of analysis I will offer is a much broader analysis of the way in which social media and sort of immediately responding and doing like reaction content type stuff in the immediate aftermath of an issue is a bit of a problem, because you should never react like just instantly like that, because you're obviously going to be caught up in the emotion of the situation, and you can say stuff that's fucking dumb, right? Not that he really did. I think he actually reacted with a great deal of calm, given it. Like I said, I mean, if I'd been in that situation and I was being like sort of humiliated by being dragged out of the situation, because there's like, he's already probably got to an element within him, like a kind of imposter syndrome, because he's literally saying like CNN and fucking MSNBC and shit are literally sat in the same booths as him, right? So there must be an element of like, oh shit, I'm usually like sat in my fucking living room doing these or whatever, or sat, I don't know what room he does it from, whatever. Like I usually have my dog lying on a bed next to me. Like when I do these streams, so and then he's around like fucking not Fox News, like MSNBC or CNN or whatever. So there must be an element of kind of imposter syndrome there, and then to get humiliated by being dragged out there, that must be quite extreme. You must feel quite affronted by that, and so he reacted with quite a deal of aplomb. But you shouldn't like react in the immediate. No, not I have a dog. He has a dog. He's got that big fucking dog that looks a bit like a bear thing. The big fucking dog. So he must feel like an imposter in that situation, or have imposter syndrome in that situation. So to be humiliated, he reacted quite sensibly, I think. I'd have reacted much more extremely. But in general, reacting when you're in the midst of a maelstrom of emotion is probably not a great thing to do. Doesn't lead to necessarily very well thought out or appropriate responses. So there, that's what I've got for you. That's today's show. Anyway, thank you all for listening and watching. I've been Kevin Logan. I have. Thank you everyone for all of your support. It means the world to me. And even from beyond the grave, Rory Katz wants you to know he still doesn't give a fuck. He couldn't care less. Who is going on Twitch? Hassan is going, but there's no point really raiding into him, I don't think. DNC good. We'll go over to Moonicat. Fuck it, why not? Dang, is that the end? Yeah, to be fair, I've been going nearly 3 hours. I mean, it's not like it's been a totally short stream or anything. Go and say hello to Moonacat, who's covering some DNC shit. Not surprisingly, I guess. Yes. Thank you everyone for listening and watching. I'll be back possibly tomorrow. I don't know. I don't really have anything planned, but there's always stuff to fucking cover. I might be back tomorrow. If not, I'll be back Monday with Christy. Because we're starting to do our Monday shows. We're doing Monday Fridays now rather than Wednesday Fridays. So Monday we'll be on with Christy in the happy hour. Stay beautiful. Stay the awesome creatures that you are. Stay awesome. No passing around.